I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today is Monday, March 23rd. For those in the public, there are three ways to submit a comment. One is emailing the city clerk. All comments received prior to 4 p.m. will be acknowledged and sent to all council. Those comments received after 4 p.m. will not be read aloud at council. The second way is to fill out a speaker card located at the back of the chambers. If you wish to speak to the council at the meeting, please fill out a card and submit it up here to staff as soon as possible within the meeting. If we can all kindly please rise for the pledge to the flag, those who can. Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if I can have the roll call, please.
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Present.
Dr. Das Magwal,
Present.
Ms. Peruano,
Present.
Ms. Manalo, Mr. Sylvester.
Glenn Sylvester, present. At this time, I'd like to defer to Madam City Attorney. I see we do have one of our council members on Zoom at this time. Madam City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor, we need to address the remote participation under Government Code Section 5945. My understanding is that the Vice Mayor is ready to make the participation regards to
All right, Madam City Clerk, Vice Mayor, would you kindly please confirm you are participating remotely and state the general nature of the emergency circumstances?
I'm participating remotely pursuant to 2449 for emergency circumstances related to truck. It's in-person attendance.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to approve remote participation for this regular meeting and the special meeting immediately following.
So move.
Second.
We have a first and a second.
You can do a voice vote for all parties.
Roll call vote? Yes.
Voice
Oh,
vote.
Voice vote. Thank you very much. All those in favor, say
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you very much. The Vice Mayor is approved to participate remotely for both meetings. All right, moving on. We have a few presentations this evening. We'll first start off the first presentation on Senate Bill 63, Local Investment Plan. Samtrans, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Sylvester, members of the City Council. Thanks for inviting us to present today. My name is Charles C. Chang. I'm a Government and Community Affairs Officer with the San Mateo County Transit District, and I'm here to share an update, and we have a slide deck as well. I'm going to give information about a potential revenue measure which could be on the November ballot. And if it makes it, we're sharing information for what it could mean for the county and how you and community members can engage in the process. Thank you, Leilani. So this is the agenda. We have information on the ballot measure as a whole, and we'll really be focusing today on San Mateo County. So first, I wanted to start off by giving a brief snapshot of Samtrans, who we are and who we serve. We provide bus and paratransit service here in San Mateo County. It's an essential service for people to get to work, school, home, medical appointments, and other destinations. You can see some bullet points here about our service, but I really want to emphasize that our riders depend on us. 94% are low income, and 80% do not drive or own a car for a variety of reasons. So some of the key issues. Transit agencies that carry millions of people throughout the Bay Area are facing major operational deficits. These agencies are sharing with the public this reality and a few reasons for why that is, which you can see on this slide. You'll be hearing from the other transit agencies about how the ballot measure, if successful, could help them stabilize and maintain their service levels. But I really want to emphasize that today, that's not the focus of the presentation today. We're focused on San Mateo County. So some background on the ballot measure. There's state legislation that passed last year called SB 63, the Connect Bay Area Act. It may reach the November ballot via Citizens Initiative, and there's a signature gathering effort underway now. It would require 50% plus one of total votes in 5 counties to pass: San Mateo, San Francisco, Santa Clara, Alameda, and Contra Costa. If it makes the ballot, voters will decide if they approve a half-cent sales tax for 14 years and a full cent in San Francisco only. It would provide nearly $1 billion to transit in the Bay Area, and about 63% of the funding would go to preventing major service cuts on Caltrain, BART, Muni, AC Transit, SF Bay Ferry, and some other smaller agencies. In San Mateo County, there would also be locally administered funds for local transportation improvements, and that's really what we want to focus on today. So what does this mean for San Mateo County? Samtrans would allocate approximately $50 million annually for 14 years. There are some limitations on the funds. They have to be used for public transit in one way, shape, or form. So we need your input and the community's input. The purpose is to help the Samtrans board determine how the $50 million would be invested in San Mateo County. So the good news is that even though the funds are limited to public transit, we have other ways of funding transportation items here in San Mateo County. We have 2 half-cent sales taxes that fund transportation improvements, Measures A and W, which you can see on the screen. They are prescriptive. Voters have told us what to spend the money on, and Measure A expires in 2033, and the San Mateo County Transportation Authority may be asking voters to renew the sales tax, most likely in 2028. There may be transportation projects that don't fit the Connect Bay Area ballot measure that could be later addressed in Measure A. I also wanted to provide context about Samtrans. We're very fortunate in San Mateo County that our bus system is in a stronger financial position than some of the other operators that have deficits of $75 million or $300 million. But starting in fiscal year 2028, we do start to see an inflection point where expenditures are outpacing revenues. We do project an operating deficit that averages about $30 million per year over the next decade. And as I mentioned, Samtrans provides an essential service for many people, so we have to watch this carefully. There are some cost-saving measures we're doing proactively now, and we recognize we need to protect this essential bus service for our customers. So how is Samtrans determining how to spend the money it would receive if the ballot measure qualifies and passes? We're putting together a local investment plan. We have pre-existing strategic planning documents to help us, and we have done a huge amount of outreach in the past several years to understand our riders' priorities and the community's priorities. Our board has also provided guidance. We've also already held 2 workshops for our stakeholder and agency advisory groups. And I wanted to thank Assistant City Manager Tim Nevin for participating in the agency advisory group workshops. Our stakeholder groups includes business, nonprofit, labor, special districts, and other community groups. And thank you for giving us the opportunity tonight to present to the City Council and the community members watching tonight. We're conducting a public survey to gather input, and at the end of the day, our board will decide the plan for this money if the ballot measure qualifies and passes. So we are doing public engagement on a short timeline. We basically have about 10 weeks for engagement, and through this process, we're listening and are trying to develop this local investment plan for our board to adopt. There will be a discussion at the Samtrans board meeting on May 6th. We invite you to participate or tune in, and the goal for board adoption is at the June meeting. We're doing this now so that residents have information on how funds would be invested in locally if the ballot measure qualifies and passes. So taking all of our existing inputs, we've identified 10 categories for funding consideration. And here are the various categories we're surveying on the screen here. So these categories are based on Samtrans work and planning projects, the stakeholder and agency feedback, and the work we're doing now. We need to hear from people and to hear from you how to prioritize these various categories. We have an online survey available in multiple languages, English, Spanish, Chinese, and Tagalog. And we're also leaving tear-off surveys in paper here back in the room and around the county. They have QR codes where people can take the survey and tear off portions that can be mailed back to our office. So just really want to emphasize, we need your help. The survey closes April 30th, and we're working to get the information out. Getting information sooner is better than later for us because it'll help shape the conversations we have. We've also given your staff a toolkit for social media, press, and newsletters, and our ask is also for you to amplify this in your social media, your city, and constituent newsletters. And of course, please take the survey yourself as well. So we know we have a short presentation tonight, so we encourage you to get in touch with us to share your thoughts. Our email address is listed here on the slide, localfundingplan@samtrans.com. And thank you again for having us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Chelsea?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Chelsea. We have any questions from any of the council members?
Any questions?
Here you go.
Not yet.
Oh.
If you have any questions.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for your presentation. We know, so I don't think people realize how at risk we are losing our public transportation, and then because of the cost. And do you foresee, I know we see a lot of cuts and everything, so not to be a Debbie Downer, but to let people know what could happen if this was not supported would be obviously what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, bus routes cut, jobs for like our union bus drivers. It could be anything, right? According to, for the public transportation.
So each agency is developing a plan for what would happen if the measure fails and can provide that information
I
specifically.
mean, I'm thinking positive, but just to let people know how important it is, right? To be supportive, to let them know that we need our public transportation, you know.
Most are looking at service cuts, station closures, and potential other cost-saving measures.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here as well. So you look like you're going on tour to the city council. So thank you very much for being here. And hopefully people can do the survey. And I'm sure that our city will help getting out the word through the mayor. Maybe we can publicize or put it, whatever they decide in my council. So sounds good to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for all your hard work.
Great. Dr. Rod?
I don't have any questions, but just some comments. Thank you for providing information about the potential cuts, but then also actions that we can take throughout these counties. I think that, just what Councilmember DiGiovanni said, there's like potential cuts, right? And, Daly City being a critical hub in all the public transportation, it is really critical to save these routes, these services, especially in the working immigrant community that we have. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well said.
Thank you very much. My comment is, I'm very happy to see that there's a collaboration between the various transit resources that we have, BART, Samtrans, and others. And I can see some limitations in the sense that BART only goes as far down as to Millbrae, but we're looking at the rest of San Mateo, and for them to have a voice in this as well, and for better transit routes throughout San Mateo County. So I'm very happy to see that the collaboration is there. What they say is there's strength in numbers. So I appreciate you bringing this forth before us, and wish you the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think Vice Mayor has her hand
Thank
up.
you.
Oh, Vice Mayor. Oh, I see the Vice Mayor's hand up. Vice Mayor?
Thank you very much. I would also like to chime in and just agree with the mayor and council members with regards to thanking you for coming to present. I wanted to say also is the biggest obstacle would be to be able to communicate with enough voters so they understand that this is so important to vote yes for. Unfortunately, with so many different tax measures, I'm sure some people are hesitant. And so it would be nice, I'm sure you all are working on that to get it out to the community in various languages so that they understand how important it is to vote yes. Even though a half cent doesn't sound like a lot, sometimes people hear tax and, it is for 14 years, but it would really do a lot for BART and Samtrans and such. So thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing more in the community, and thank you for the link for your information. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other comments before we move on to the next item? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is the fiscal year 2025 year in review and financial forecast. Mr. Nevin. Mr. Nevin, before you start, I'd like to make a quick announcement regarding public speaking tonight. At this particular time, I do have a few cards on another matter, and I have a piece of paper containing 26 folks who would like to speak tonight. So just as an FYI, all I have is a piece of paper. I will need the cards for later on. And when that transpires, I'm going to cut off the list. But please, if you want to speak tonight, please get the cards in. All right? So that's fair warning ahead of time. Thank you so much. Mr. Nevin, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Tonight, I will provide a brief report of the fiscal year 2025 year-end review and financial forecast. We'll start with the fiscal year 2025 year-end review. Fiscal year 2025 began July 1st, 2024, and ended June 30th, 2025. Focusing on the general fund, the approved budget deficit, including capital expenditures, was just over $5.7 million. The adjusted budget deficit after incorporating mid-year budget adjustments was almost $13.2 million. At the end of the fiscal year, actual revenues came in higher than budgeted by roughly $12.3 million, and the resulting general fund surplus was almost $350,000. With a budget of over $125 million, this was close to break even. This slide looks at the same $350,000 surplus and shows the effect of utilizing one-time American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funds. If we were not able to utilize ARPA funds last fiscal year, the general fund would have experienced a deficit of almost $2.4 million. Since Measure Q, the city's half-cent sales tax measure, went into effect, we have been monitoring this relatively new revenue source. For fiscal year 2025, Measure Q revenues totaled $8,919,190. This slide shows the history of general fund revenue from fiscal year 2016 through fiscal year 2025. Since fiscal year 2020, general fund revenues on average have grown 5.9% per year. This slide shows the history of general fund expenditures from fiscal year 2016 through fiscal year 2025. Since fiscal year 2020, general fund expenditures on average have grown 7.8% per year. Secured property taxes have increased 6% per year from fiscal year 2021 through fiscal year 2025. While this forecast changes slightly quarter to quarter, the city's sales tax consultant estimates that general sales tax and Measure Q sales tax revenue should increase on average 3% per year from fiscal year 2027 through fiscal year 2032. The city has also monitored short-term rental transit occupancy taxes since those also went into effect in fiscal year 2021. Revenues increased in fiscal year 2025 to $557,516. Halfway through the current fiscal year, revenues stand at $436,203. As noted in previous financial presentations, the vehicle license fee shortfall has received a lot of attention throughout the county. In fiscal year 2025, the city received 100% of the $3.8 million shortfall from fiscal year 2023. So far, in the current fiscal year, the city only received 2/3 of the fiscal year 2024 VLF shortfall. Daly City joined the County of San Mateo and all of the other cities and towns in San Mateo County in suing the state of California for the rest of the shortfall. There is no word yet as to that lawsuit, nor do we know at this time how much the state will pay us for the $6.5 million shortfall from fiscal year 2025. Next, we'll turn to the financial forecast. Key budgeting terms, the general fund reserve policy. The city adopted a general fund reserve policy in July 2020. The policy states that the city should maintain a minimum reserve equal to 2 months or 17% of annual operating expenditures. It also states that the city should maintain a targeted reserve equal to 3 months or 25% of annual operating expenditures. The definition for a deficit occurs when the budgeted expenditures exceed the budgeted revenues in a given fiscal year. The city utilizes unrestricted fund balance in the general fund to offset any actual deficit if needed. And in the case of a surplus at year end, the unrestricted fund balance in the general fund would increase. For fiscal year 2026, the adopted budget deficit was almost $7.9 million. After increases to expenditures from labor union bargaining and mid-year budget adjustments, the adjusted budget deficit is almost $17.8 million. Currently, our best estimate for year end, while the city is still bargaining with one last labor group, staff estimates the city will end the current fiscal year with a deficit over $6.6 million. This estimate does not account for all capital project carry forwards, which would increase that amount. For fiscal year 2027, the adopted budget deficit was almost $8.8 million, and the adjusted budget deficit currently stands at $16.2 million. This graph shows general fund reserves in dollars and months. After closing fiscal year 2025, general fund reserves sit at almost $63.6 million, or 6.1 months of reserves. With projected deficits this fiscal year, 2026, and next fiscal year, 2027, reserves would decrease to the levels listed here. The next steps regarding the city's finances are to continue negotiations with AFSCME, update the master fee schedule next month, come back to council in May or June for fiscal year 2027 mid-cycle budget adjustments, and next winter present the fiscal year 2026 year-end review. Thank you, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Nevin. Any questions?
I have a couple
Dr.
of
Rupp,
questions.
please.
I have a few questions, Mr. Nevin. One is, I'll just go one by one. So we saw a forecast in short-term rental. What do you forecast in terms of, is it potential growth, or do you feel like there will be a potential decline? Is there any forecasting on that?
For this current fiscal year, looking at it, this is data through December, so it's really half the year. It does look as though this year, fiscal 26, will be a higher year than last year.
Okay.
But we monitor it each month as that TOT revenue comes in.
Okay.
But we do believe it's going to be higher than than last year. It has seen, besides the small decrease from 23 to 24, a general increase in this revenue.
And then I was just kind of curious. I know that we passed cannabis tax as well. Is that even making any type of significant contributions?
That's a great question. And when we during the budget cycle, when we adopted the 2-year budget and looked during those budget presentations, I did focus a bit on cannabis, but I will continue to
Gotcha.
incorporate that and update. We are seeing revenue from cannabis businesses. The issue that we are experiencing, however, is that we have not had 3 or even 4 businesses open at one moment in time.
Okay.
We've had 2 and 1 close and reopen. So once we have established and have 3 to 4 open,
Got
then we'd probably see much larger revenue coming in from cannabis sales. But it's still there and it's
Okay.
still contributing. Yes.
And then my last question is on, we had that, I guess, I don't know if it's defined as a structural deficit in terms of what we have forecasted as a deficit. How comparable is that to other cities in the county? Is it pretty much similar?
It's actually very comparable.
Okay.
Interestingly, each city is so unique in
Right.
terms of our mix of revenue, where we receive revenue from, types of businesses that exist in our cities. Daly City being higher in terms of like residential population versus businesses, but it is very similar to projected budget deficits across the county
Got it.
and for the county itself.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Nevin. That's all from me, Mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Rod. Vice Mayor Perano.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Tim, the concern I'm looking at is in observing the reserves going down. Reserves going from 6.3, then 6.1, and then 5, and projection to 5 years, or I'm sorry, reserve in months. So that's 5 months, and then going down in 2027, a projection at 3.5. When we look at this, and obviously we're noticing that things are going down, and we're using monies in reserve to come to budget, what are the biggest factors that is creating this deficit?
Thank you for that question. The biggest factors, I will just talk briefly before I answer that, in terms of, you mentioned the magnitude and the numbers. Fiscal 26 is currently obviously an estimate. We will conclude the year on June 30th. This is sort of our best guess at this stage in the fiscal year of where we may end up. We did include some increases for bargaining groups that have already settled with the city, and those numbers are in the budget. We're still in negotiations with one budget group, so those numbers are not yet in the budget. But that is the largest contributing factor on the expenditure side, is the cost of salaries and benefits for city employees, as that represents 70+% of the general fund budget. For operating revenues, I'm fairly certain at this point we will come to you, back to the council as stated in next steps in May or June regarding fiscal year 2027 mid-cycle adjustments. That operating revenue number would hopefully increase we will increase the budget for next fiscal year by looking at some of those line items that I talked about, especially sales tax growth and potentially property tax growth. But we'll look at that at the mid-cycle, and hopefully that revenue line in fiscal 27 would increase, which would help that a bit. But it is a large deficit at this point to try to overcome. Fiscal 26, I can't predict that we're going to be anywhere close to break even like we have been, I would say, in fiscal 24 and fiscal 25. I will state one last thing. Another contributing factor that's very large for the city is that next year we'll utilize the last of, but a very small amount of American Rescue Plan Act or ARPA funds. So those will be gone after fiscal '26. We'll have no more revenue that we can rely upon from ARPA. It will be expended.
Through the mayor,
Yes, Vice Mayor, go ahead.
thank you. With regards to the funds that we and other cities are going after the state of California to see if we receive those funds, those funds have been historically placed into the reserves. Is that for the VLF?
So every year we receive a level of vehicle license fee revenue from the state that is anticipated. If you see from this slide, the second column of data VLF expected, that's what the city receives in vehicle license fee revenue. So that does help contribute to our overall revenue in the general fund. The shortfall in that third column of data is where there's been an issue in terms of whether the state will pay the county of San Mateo, and through the county of San Mateo, the city of Daly City, that VLF shortfall. Those amounts on this slide are just related to the city's shortfall. The county itself has a very large shortfall, 120 million plus, or I can't recall the actual number, but we did receive 2/3 of that shortfall amount this fiscal year, fiscal 2026. We were expecting to receive the full 6.1 million. The state only provided us with just over $4 million in that shortfall. So 2/3 of what the shortfall was is what the state paid us this time. Again, I mentioned the lawsuit that the city joined to try to recoup the additional $2 million owed to the city. And next year's shortfall, 2025 shortfall, is 6.5 million. We've requested that from the state. The county on our behalf has requested that. We have not heard yet how much will be paid of that $6.5 million shortfall. Fiscal 26 is currently estimated at $6.7 million and could increase, but out years, as mentioned in a previous presentation, could top $10 million per year in the next 4 years or so.
And through the mayor, so those funds, it's important to note that those funds you place into the general fund, but it's not part of the budgeting or factoring in when we do. I just wanted to clarify.
Yes, yes. When we start the budget cycle, we do not forecast, we do not budget for the shortfall amount. We do budget for what's expected, the VLF expected column. So we do budget for how much we know we're going to, in general, how much we know we're going to receive from the state without the shortfall. We do not budget the shortfall. If we know by mid-year, we will come to council and actually add it to the budget at that time. And if we don't know by that time, we will not add it, because it's uncertain, and it's more and more uncertain today.
I see. Thank you so much. I appreciate the clarification and the information. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other comments? Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Thank you, through the mayor. Thank you for your detailed presentation. I really appreciate it. So I have a quick question of something that came up, I guess, fairly recently. I think I saw it on the site. What public site was it? It was a letter that went out to all the cities, just so people know, for the public. It was Genentech versus, it was a settlement that Genentech, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been going on for a number of years, and they reached a settlement with the county. And the county sent out a letter to every entity, school districts, every single school district, every single fire district, unincorporated Broadmoor, unincorporated Redwood City, our city, and every city, so throughout. And the bottom number was, I think, $19.1 million that is being dispersed, that each of us have to owe a certain amount. Given that, of course, I'm acting for Daly City, I don't remember the correct number, but I think it was almost 200,000. And so, and then ongoing, there could be more. So how, and then I mean, I'm sorry, because it was like a little throw, like, okay, now we owe 200,000. So when do we have to pay that money? And where are we taking the money out? Because I know we have to pay it by law, and I think right now there was no way to fight it, if I understand from speaking with numerous people in the county, that it's a pretty well done deal on the settlement, and the Board of Supervisors signed off in, I think, 2023. But how do we get of that? It's another 200,000, and then of course, we don't know how to forecast they're going to go for more money. Am I right? Or am I off track?
That is true. So the lawsuit spans a few decades. So what has already been finally adjudicated is
Yeah.
the 2000 to 2005. As you mentioned, the city is a portion of what the total judgment was. Daly City was just under $230,000 for that. The way that we will actually, quote, pay that is that when the county pays us property taxes in the fall,
Okay.
this coming fall of 2026, they will pay us our property tax minus the $230,000 that is owed that is the city's portion of that judgment. But as you mentioned, there are still other years and blocks. I think it was, I don't know the process, but it was adjudicated in blocks of years. So that 5 or 6 year period has been finalized, and the others we're awaiting to see what comes of that and what the amounts would be for that. But our portion for a 6 year period was about $200,000.
Yeah, I figured something like that. So then they'll minus that because we rely on property tax. Am I correct? That's one of the biggest for our revenues. So we're going to take a little sting, but how will that affect when I see the budget and we're down to 2027, 3.5, I would say months of reserves? How will that affect our reserves and budgeting?
Excuse me. So for fiscal 27, when we do not receive the 230,000, that will decrease our actual revenues by that exact amount, roughly $230,000. So if we were to subtract that amount from the reserves,
Okay.
that would be the effect. So the gross dollar amount would be 230,000. The months wouldn't really change just based on 230,000. That probably wouldn't decrease it from 5 to
Right.
4.9, but it would be less revenue by that magnitude.
Yeah. I know it happened, but it really takes a big hit on everyone in the whole county, basically, in our public school districts and everything. So I appreciate it, Mr. Nevin, but, it's the law, and they made a settlement, and everybody has to pay, so it's kind of like unexpected at these times for people. Cities are struggling, school districts are struggling, so
Yes,
it's,
thank you for your question. It's not insignificant
Yeah.
at all for us. Yeah.
I know. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember DiGiovanni. Are there any other questions? I have a few. Tim, if you will go to page 5, slide number 5. Yeah. Any way we can get more money from Measure Q?
This is the cities. We had the prior presentation about the county-wide measure for transportation. So this is the city's own half-cent sales tax.
Oh, as to what we had
And
received.
it has increased since 2021, when we first started seeing this revenue come in as voters approved it in November of 2020. But for fiscal 25, this is the actual final number for that fiscal year. With as mentioned, anticipated 3% increases per year on average for the next 5 years or so.
All right. Slide number 16. I notice on the third column, capital expenditures, 875, and then in 2027 is estimated at 500,000. How do we save 375,000?
The fiscal 27 number is just the current budgeted number for capital expenditures. So we did do
Oh, okay.
the budget for 26 and budget for 27. Those are only the capital expenditures that are general funded.
All right. It's a lot of numbers here. And I actually am going to need more time to look at this. If I have any questions, I'm sure I can reach out to you. But I'm deeply concerned in the reserves in months by it's estimated. I know you don't have a crystal ball. If you did, you would not be here. But 3.5, I know that we'll have to work on it. So with your last slide, ongoing steps, can you, this might be a tough question. Can you estimate how much this may help us to the tune of a dollar amount?
In terms of the,
Just say-
really the only, I guess, help would be the second item, would be
I
as
could-
the master fee schedule, as council has determined that we would review that each year and give a nominal kind of COLA increase to those fees, which does help us on the revenue side.
Okay.
We do see increases, of course, with economic activity. That's the real driver for how much permit revenue, for example, the city will receive. It's based on activity. But the
Economic-
fees themselves help when we do, increases as opposed to what we did many years ago in terms of not looking at that every year.
That's correct, absolutely. So you're keeping an eye on our master fee schedule and increasing it, because, I would think we would be behind if we don't continue to stay up on it, so.
The intent is to increase it annually. I would say so that it doesn't increase too much at any one given time. And secondly, most of the fees on there that we increase with a 3% or 4%, which is really reflects the cost of living adjustment, is basically directly related to the cost of staff time for us to provide services.
So if that's the case, you're talking about cost recovery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can add a little bit more on top of that? I
Well,
mean,
what we will do, and we had a consultant come in and help us build that master fee schedule, look at the number of minutes and hours that staff spend on certain permitting activities or other activities that we have fees for, and we will redo that survey, not every year, but every 5 to 7 years, so that we can, if we need to increase it at a stronger level than an annual COLA, we'll bring that to council at that point.
great. Magical Bridge, do we expect to get any money from that?
Well, in terms
mean,
of
you-
revenue,
Yeah, revenue, either, who's going to own it? I mean, do we take part in reservations like we do with recreation and parks? Or it's just going to be open space for anybody to go?
at this point, I don't know if that's been completely determined, but at this point, it's taking a portion of Hillside Park and creating a magical bridge playground there. I also would have to maybe talk to some other cities that have them and whether there's a revenue aspect to that as well. But primarily, it's a community benefit.
All right. That's all I have. All right, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Mr. Nevin.
Thank you.
And appreciate it, and I'm sure council, if they have any questions, they can reach out to you and the city manager. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dan. Thank you.
All right. The next item is the approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of March 9th. I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor,
Aye.
say aye.
Aye.
All right, did we miss, I heard the vice mayor, but she's no longer up on the screen.
I did say yes.
Oh, I heard you, yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
just want to make sure, let you know you're not forgotten. Thank you. All right, the next item is the approval of the agenda for tonight, March 23rd, 2026. I'll entertain a motion. Oh, there you are.
So move.
Second?
We got a first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the Minutes have been approved. The next item on the agenda is okay, staff communication. Is there any staff communication?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Picolotti, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I want to provide a brief update on the proposed tenant anti-harassment ordinance and the work currently underway. There continues to be community interest in advancing tenant protections in Daly City, and the concerns being raised are important and recognized by the city. As reflected in the council's adopted resolution, staff is proceeding with a review and evaluation process to better understand the proposed ordinance and its potential implementation in Daly City. This includes reviewing the legal framework, assessing administrative and fiscal considerations, and evaluating how the ordinance would function with the city's existing structure. Staff is also continuing stakeholder outreach and engagement, including discussions with tenant advocates, landlords, and representatives from real estate community, including SAMCAR, to gather input on the ordinance and its potential impacts. Currently, tenants are protected under California law, including the Tenant Protection Act of 2019, and the proposed ordinance would expand into the area of landlord conduct and harassment, which staff is continuing to evaluate. Consistent with council direction, staff will return with a progress update as a part of the mid-cycle budget review in the May-June timeframe. This will include findings and options for council's consideration. This remains an ongoing review process, and staff will continue to keep the council and the public informed as this work progresses. So, thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Picolotti, thank you so much for that report. The next item on the agenda is oral comment.
Oh.
And so I'll start off here. We have a lot of cards this evening, and I'm going to open it up. Good evening, Councilmember Manalo. Thank you. For the record, Madam City Clerk, Madam City Clerk, for the record, Councilmember Manalo is now present. All right, thank you very much. All right, so for a tremendous amount of cards have been presented for by the folks of representing or being represented by Faith in Action on an issue that they wish to speak on. Given the amount of cards, I'm going to allow 1 minute for each comment. For all other comments, since I only have a few cards, you'll get the 2 minutes. So before I get to the main bulk, I will announce the names, and I ask that you queue up so we can save time as each person comes up for comments. So we'll start off for another group of speakers. And we're going to speak with the folks of Ask Me. So I'd like to have Jessica Lee to come on up, please, and address the council. And after Jessica will be Trevor Courtney. Good evening.
Hello. Honorable Mayor and esteemed council members, civil service is a calling. We as members chose our careers out of a desire to serve our communities instead of making more money elsewhere. Historically, this has been viable due to a social contract with our communities to take care of us so we can be best in our service to the public. We have a stable job that pays enough to make ends meet and live comfortably, but that system has begun to fail due to rising costs. And though you are not responsible for inflation, rising gas prices, tariffs, etc., we are asking you to do better by raising our pay to be able to afford to survive while working our full-time jobs. Simply renting a studio apartment in Daly City costs nearly $2,000 per month. A newly hired library assistant one roughly makes $2,675 per pay period before taxes. Adding gas, groceries, utilities, you can see how it becomes impossible to live on one's own and not fall into poverty while working a full-time job. The poverty line in San Mateo County sits at 6 figures. Even a library assistant 3 does not reach 6 figures until step 4. We are not asking you to break the bank. We are the lowest paid employees in the city. We are simply asking for raises in line with the other bargaining units received. Thank you for your time.
Good much. Reminder, we have a Trevor Courtney that's coming up now, and if Joshua Rees can stand by, you'll be next. Good evening.
Good evening, council members. Good evening, Mayor, Mr. Piccolotti. My name is Trevor Courtney. I work for the Public Works Street Department. I was born and raised in Daly City, right there on Seton. I went to Our Lady of Mercy and Marjorie H. Tobias. I've worked for the city for about 2.5 years now. I just want to give a couple personal experiences of working out on the streets. You know, one time we were putting in thermo stop sign on Eastmore Avenue, and a woman was pushing a stroller, walking her child to school. She said, "Oh, thank you so much. You know, I have trouble crossing the street in the morning time." You know, that little appreciation felt real good. You know, fills you with pride with what you're doing, means something. Another time we were on Gellert putting hot asphalt in the seams. You know, we have the street closed off and cars are driving by honking saying, "Oh, thank you, thumbs up. You know, we're driving through this every day. It's a problem. We appreciate you doing it." When we successfully shut down State Route 82 for the Daly City Festival, you know, with our traffic control, and, you know, thousands of people are showing up, having fun, smiling, appreciating what the city's putting on for them. And, you know, just to see all those smiles and all those thank yous, you know, fills you with pride and you know, it makes it worth it. It's good to do that. So I just feel right now in our negotiations, this would be the time for the city to show their appreciation to the public works. With that said, thank you all for listening. I appreciate the opportunity to talk. Have a good night.
All right. All right, next we have Joshua Rees, and after Joshua, if Anthony Waters can be next.
Good evening, Council. I'm reading for one of our library assistants who was not able to be here today. She's one of the newest members of the Daly City Public Library in AFSCME Union. She just moved to Daly City so that she could fulfill her lifelong dream of working in a library. She continued, "I am also currently applying for food stamps. While I am lucky to be able to do a job I love and support myself because of it, I see prices go up every single day, and some days I have to decide whether to afford to both buy groceries and run my heater at night. Like most young professionals, I'm unmarried, living on a single income, and don't receive financial support from my family. So my wages staying proportional to the cost of living is the only thing standing between me and poverty. I hope that our esteemed council members can understand that for people like me, my coworker, this issue is of paramount importance, and I, as an employee of the city you run and one of your own constituents, hope to see that I have city council members who care about the issues that impact my life." And so that was written by one of our library assistants who couldn't be here tonight. She said she's applying for food stamps because of the low pay for our library assistants that we're hoping the city can help raise. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Anthony Waters. And looks like that's the last one for after me. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Anthony Walters, Union Representative with American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, Local 829. Good evening, City Council members, residents, and employees. I'm happy to report that we have made some progress since I first spoke here January 26th. We have tentatively agreed to some positive changes. Daly City employees need substantial cost of living adjustments Yet the city's current proposal for AFSCME members is significantly lower in percentage increases than those granted to other bargaining units. Some modest improvements to our medical benefits could also help us reach a final tentative agreement. I'm optimistic about reaching a mutually agreeable settlement, and progress on longevity is a positive sign in this area. This provision will help retention and recruitment of qualified workers. Lastly, binding arbitration is another item that I believe could be resolved, perhaps with a pilot program. AFSCME has positive working relationships with our Daly City Human Resources, and we resolve issues well. Binding arbitration will provide due process rights for employees and reflects this city council's commitment to workers' rights. Thank you again for your public service.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, next speaker will be Kalima Salahuddin, representing the REACH Coalition. Good evening.
Hi, I'm here, I stand in solidarity with your union, and I'm also here on the REACH Coalition to speak on behalf with Faith in Action and for myself, as a former Daly City resident who was forced to leave because I could no longer afford to live here. But when I was searching for an apartment, I'm living in Westlake for many years, dealing with mold, dealing with high water and garbage. Like, I pay less for water and garbage in a 3-bedroom house now than I paid when I was in a 2-bedroom apartment at Westlake. That the response from the customer, from the landlord was abysmal, but also the fear of speaking up for too long. Like the filth, the dirtiness, the laundry rooms, it was a mess, and I felt ashamed as a parent to have my children living like that, working as like a dog, right, to pay those rents. And then on top of that, all the fees with the streets. If you live in an apartment, you're not allowed a parking permit. That cost adds up. And so I'm asking for you guys to help your residents. And I'm willing to do whatever it needs to take and fight along with y'all. You guys know I'm willing to do whatever it takes. But we need help. It's getting worse with gas prices and everything, and the fear that's already abound from our federal government. It's too much pressure. Your citizens need assistance and help and support in fighting back with the landlords who need to have some checks and balances, because we're not talking about everybody, but the ones that are out of bounds, they need to have something done. I can't tell you how many times I sent my resume and my information for someone to rent to me, and I was good until I showed up and they saw the skin color. One woman was in the car, she refused to get out the car. And then when I left, she called me and she said, "Are you still coming?" I was like, I was there. So please help.
Thank you. All right, the next speaker will be Tahira Dean, and
Good evening. My name is Tahira Dean. I'm an attorney at Public Advocates. We are a nonprofit that focuses on housing, transportation, education, justice. I'm here today to stand with Faith in Action as we ask you to move forward with this anti-harassment ordinance. As was said in closed doors meetings and at the Public City Council meeting in December, a commitment was made to study the feasibility of the ordinance, and we're here in March, and we have yet to see that progress. I'm glad to hear the status update of we're going to see, budget coming in the summertime. We really need to make haste. As you can hear today, people are, came here for a press conference to let you all know, remind you that they are in need of severe help. You mentioned AB 1482, the Tenant Protection Act. It provides basic protections for tenants against extreme rent increases, but it does not reference landlord harassment, and it is set to expire in 2030. We need protections at the local level. Thank you.
all right, the next speaker would be Sandy Pryor, and if I can have, after Sandy, Albania Fuentes, and Anika M. So it's Albania Fuentes and Anika M. to follow. Good evening, Ms. Pryor, you have the floor.
Good evening, members, Mr. Mayor. My name is Sandra. I'm a leader with Faith in Action. And what brings me here today is that we have a crisis in Daly City where landlords are depriving tenants of their inherent right to live with dignity. We need the city council to step up and protect tenants from unsafe housing and intimidating landlords by passing the anti-harassment law. I had a longer speech, but I'm only limited to a minute, so I've had to cut it short. I wish you could see that tenants living with landlord harassment, mold, roaches, the lack of repairs, rodents. I wish you can see that that's an injustice. The truth that the laws that exist now do not protect us. We need leaders to love. Oh, is that it?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll just say this. We need leaders who are in love with justice and humanity. We're looking to all of you to be champions of justice, to move beyond differences, to act with compassion, and to uphold the dignity we all deserve. I'm going to leave you with this quote from Martin Luther King: "A right delayed is a right denied." Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pryor. Okay, Albania Fuentes.
Hello, my name is Albie. I am a leader with Faith in Action here in Daly City. I've been a resident for 13 years and I go to Skyline College. I was here last time when the resolution was passed, and quite honestly, I'm feeling disappointed that we're still waiting to hear an update. Now, while we share joy with the resolution passing, the fight doesn't stop there. Daly City tenants are still facing like the daily realities of landlord harassment, and we need to see our council members move with a sense of urgency to reflect just how serious this issue is. The Daly City community needs to see that you see us as human beings and not just another task that you're like putting off. And so again, I'm here to ask you that you give us an update and that we see progress in protecting our Daly City tenants from landlord harassment. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up is Anika M. And if the following folks can be ready: Miifo Amine, Janae Pei, and Kai S. Or Kais. Good evening. You're Anika?
Yeah.
Okay, please, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone in the City Council. My name is Annika. I am a student in Jefferson High School, and I want to speak out about the landlord harassment that's been going on. With the growth of amount of residents in Daly City, the quality of living in these neighborhoods has diminished because of landlord harassment. The term illegal accurately reflects its meaning. Why are we still overlooking this important matter? Numerous individuals might hesitate to acknowledge such behavior, yet harassment by landlords is indeed a reality. As a teenager, my perspective might not appear as powerful as others, yet I strongly encourage you to hear me out. Comprehend, recognize. We are forming our lifestyle. The initial step towards a more fulfilling and successful life begins in our surroundings. Ensure a brighter tomorrow. Make it happen, City Council. Thank you.
Hey, Miifo Amine?
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Mieko, living in Franciscan Mobile Home Park. In Mobile Home Park, the utility, we don't pay to the PG or water supply company directly, but the management will give us the utility bill. Since the new management came in around the end of 2024, everybody is complaining about the higher utility bill. And some people pay more than twice or three times. Someone pay almost $1,000 a month for the utility. I want the fair utility bill from the back. Thank you very much.
Okay, Janae P.
Good evening. My name is Janelle, and I am with Tanggol Migrante Movement or Defend Migrants Alliance, Daly City. TMM is a network of organizations that focuses on supporting and defending Filipino migrants from deportation, detention, and state violence. We are here in solidarity with Faith in Action Bay Area Daly City leaders to encourage the council and city staff to support their work in protecting tenants and from landlord harassment. With the worsening economic crisis, prices of commodities continue to increase, including the cost of rent, while workers' wages remain low. This, in addition to blatant attacks on migrants, puts migrant working class families and renters in a vulnerable position in their living conditions. Migrant renters are subjected to pay hundreds to thousands of dollars to live in crowded multi-unit homes, live in buildings that aren't up to housing standards, and put up with threats of deportation by their landlord. We have seen many Filipino migrants, especially Filipino migrant women, who suffered from illness, physical ailments, and anxiety, interrupted sleep from the worries of their own safety and housing security due to verbal harassment by their landlords. All migrants, regardless of their immigration status, deserve dignified housing, livelihoods, and protections from harassment by their landlord and employers. Housing free from harassment is a matter of health and safety. Passing a renter anti-harassment
excuse me.
law is one step forward to protect those who make our community and the world go round, defend migrants
Can you
and
finish
renters
up
in
for me,
Daly City.
please?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I hate to do this, folks, but I did say 1 minute. I've been a little bit lenient. If you exceed 1 minute, I'm going to give you one warning, and then I'm going to cut off the mic. All right, so the next speaker is Kai S.
Hello, my name is Kai from Tango Migrante Movement in Daly City. I'm here to ask for the council to meet with Faith in Action to give us an update on their work to protect Daly City tenants from landlord harassment. In Tango Migrante, we understand that working class migrants go abroad due to the lack of jobs. When immigrants migrate to this country, they experience harassment, insecure housing, and exploitation from their employers. I ask the council to serve the working class immigrant families here in Daly City, regardless of immigration status, defend migrant workers from harassment, and pass the anti-harassment law. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next few speakers we have is a Tenzar Win, a Shine A, and an Ashley B. So we'll first start off with Tenzar Win.
Hi, good evening, council member and mayor. This crisis caused a health issue, stress, and mental and emotional issue for the family and threatens our physical safety. They give us a mostly difficult illegal evictions, and we face to unstable situation and also a difficult time to rent out the new places because of our immigration status. This will keep happening to the other community members in Daly City if the city council doesn't take actions for the passing the law for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The Shine A.
Hello,
I'm the president of the Philosophy Club at Skyline, and I'm here to talk about landlord harassment and kind of one of the beautiful things about this city. I come from Napa Valley, which is a wine destination, and everywhere I hear people tell me how lucky I am to have grown up there. I love this town so much more than I do Napa, and in my short time here, have seen more culture in a small square mile than I have ever in my entire time living in Napa. What this city has is a beautiful history of migrant people living here and having wonderful families and people, and my neighbors are wonderful people. But the only thing preventing me from enjoying that is landlord harassment and the fact that I can't even talk to my landlord about the mouse infestation in my house right now. The fact that my father is afraid to talk to the landlord due to past histories and due to attempts to illegally kick us out is one issue that we need to address here in this county, because this county has something really beautiful, and if you can't see that, then you're going to lose it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ashley B.
Good evening, Council. My name is Ashley Daly, and I'm a leader with Faith in Action Bay Area here in Daly City. I've been living in Daly City over 25 years, and I live in the Bayshore neighborhood. I'm here today to ask the council and city staff to meet with us to give an update on your work to protect Daly City tenants from landlord harassment. I've had my own experiences with the bad Daly City landlord, such as having mold in my apartment that never got removed. Hearing my neighbors share the atrocities that they have lived through and continually experience is an injustice. You all have a responsibility to us, the people. Everyone deserves a safe, clean home. We demand a meeting with the transparent status update on this ordinance. Thank you.
Okay, next few speakers are Carter Poe. And- Hi, good evening. Hold on, Carter. Valeska Calderon will be next, and Laura Cieza. Good evening, sir.
Hello, so my name is Carter. I'm a member of the Working Families Party on the steering committee for the Bay Area, and I'm here in solidarity with the Faith in Action Bay Area Daly City leaders to ask City Council and staff to meet with them to give an update on the work, but also make this resolution a reality. So I know some members on the council are members of the Working Families Party, and I know some folks are running for re-election. We are paying close attention to this so we can hold electeds accountable. We full-heartedly ask you to work with Faith in Action Bay Area to make this resolution an ordinance and implement it, because the neighbors in this room cannot wait. We all deserve dignity and a safe place to live. So show us that you care about human decency and work with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Carter. Yeah, Valeska Calderon. Oh, she's not here? Okay, next is Laura Cieza, and after Laura will be Pablo Rubio and Carmen Ortega.
Buenas
Evening.
tardes. Mi nombre es Laura Cieza.
You're Laura?
Cieza.
Hi, do you need a translator? Hi, ma'am, will you be translating?
I'll be interpreting for
Great. Would you kindly state your name for the record?
Sure, my name is Annabelle Garay, and I'm a court-certified interpreter.
Okay, great. And with that being said, I'm going to allow extra amount of time for the translation purposes.
Thank you so much. Nos van a dar tiempo adicional para la interpretación. Adelante.
Okay, great.
Mi nombre es Laura Cieza. Tengo 4 años ya viviendo en Daly City.
My name is Laura Cieza, and I've been living in Daly City for 4 years.
Yo sufrí abuso por mi rentario. 2 años aguantándolo. su casa llena de mohos, de cucarachas, pero necesitaba el cuarto.
I suffered abuse from my landlord for 2 years. I put up with mold, roaches, because I needed the room.
El señor, cuando le pedí un recibo porque me quería retirar de su casa, y él agarró y me pegó. Me jaló los pelos, me tiró al suelo, me cortó.
When I asked for a receipt because I wanted to leave that place, he hit me, he pulled my hair, he threw me on the ground, and he cut me.
Y me dijo que no me iba a dar nada porque mi hijo era un vago, porque yo tenía un menor hijo de 14 años, porque era, disculpe la palabra, negro, y los negros tienen que venir a trabajar y no tenían que estudiar. Y yo lo mandé a la escuela, mi hijo. Él no quería. Y me pegó, me trató mal. Yo llamé a la policía.
He told me he wasn't going to give me anything because my son was a slacker. I have a 14-year-old son, and he said that because he's black, he needed to go to work and not be going to school. So he hit me, he mistreated me, and I called the police.
Y me tuve que ir de ahí muy mal. Abusó mucho de mí. Y hoy vengo aquí a unirme con ellos porque pasé muchas cosas que no deberíamos pasar. No porque somos madres solteras tenemos que aguantar tantas humillaciones de personas que abusan de nosotros.
I left, and I suffered really badly. I was abused. And just because we're single moms doesn't mean we need to be humiliated. I went through so much at the hands of this person.
Lo cual vengo a unirme con ellos para pedir que se pueda hacer posible esta ley para que no hagan con otras personas lo que hicieron conmigo y no pasen lo que pasé yo, aguantando, callando, solamente por una habitación, por tener un techo donde dormir, para no ser humilladas.
I'm uniting here with them today to ask for this law to be passed, for you to do something so that what happened to me doesn't happen to other people. I kept quiet just because I needed a roof over my head.
Es todo, gracias.
That's everything. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, Pablo Rubio, and then we have Carmen Ortega. Is Pablo here?
Can you just keep going to the next person? I'm Pablo, but can you go to the next person? I don't want to talk right now.
You want me to go to the next person? Okay, any particular reason why? I mean, okay, I'll give you a little chance to relax. All right, you want to go near later on, or?
Probably.
Okay, all right, I can accommodate you. Okay, Carmen Ortega, please.
She also had to leave.
Thank you. Okay, the next few folks that I have is Kevin O., Neil C., and looks like Marek Abad. Mr. Kevin O.?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Kevin Owens. I'm a teacher at Thomas R. Pollicita Middle School. I'm also on our union's executive board and the negotiating team for Jefferson Elementary Federation of Teachers. I'm here today in solidarity with Faith in Action. This is a really important issue to us because the issues of landlord harassment comes into our schools. And it often manifests in students, their grades dropping, which I'm seeing right now with the 7th grade student, as well as mental health and aggressive behavior can increase. And this is a very, very common problem that we're seeing. Students, their families, and also teachers are renters in Daly City, And access to safe and stable housing is a human right that we all deserve. It's common that people say they support students and teachers and families, but it's not enough to just say it. We need people who are actually going to do that. People who aren't just going to talk about it and will actually ensure that our community is safe. The way you can do this is by supporting Faith in Action and meeting with them and their coalition partners to make sure that our entire community stays safe and has access to stable housing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O. Okay, Neil C.
Good evening, City Council, and good evening, neighbors. My name is Neil. I'm a member of the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and I've been living in Daly City for 16 years. I'm here in solidarity with Faith in Action Daly City. We demand that the council and the city meet with Faith in Action leaders and our wider coalition to not only give us a more concrete update on your work towards protecting Daly City tenants from harassment, but to seek to elevate this resolution to an actionable ordinance. We can't wait to have anything done about this. We've heard the testimonies at the last meeting. We don't need to deal with pest infestations, water leaks, mold, physical assault, verbal harassment, illegal evictions, and more. An extra day, an extra week, an extra month is one more too long before more and more people are pushed deeper towards poverty. Real quickly, I want to speak to logistics. If it's the bureaucracy and the budget and the funds and a lack of support from the state of California, then there's our problem. The fact that California, as the world's fourth largest state economy, cannot fulfill its citizens' needs. If the city council, California, or the national government can't solve a tenant harassment crisis, the public transportation crisis, the cost of living crisis, the labor crisis, or any crisis, then we need one that will. And that system is one ran by workers, including immigrants, including women, including unionists, including oppressed nationalities like Black Americans. That system is socialism. Union strong, justice for immigrants, and liberation for all. Si se puede.
Hey, Murray Abad or Mark Abad? It's Mark Abad. Mark, okay.
Good evening. My name is Mark Abad, and I am a teacher here in Daly City and a renter, and I've been living here for 7 years. I stand in solidarity with Faith in Action, and I'm here to speak for my students who have spoken up and carry their struggles to themselves. How can we expect our students to focus in our schools when their basic human rights are being overlooked? And I want you to please serve our families and serve our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All right, I have next Adi D, and then Ade M, and Wendy Cruz. So we'll first start off with Adi D.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ladies. I'm here I'm living in Daly City for more than 10 years now. So I can afford the rent. So I was forced by my landlord to move out. And I'm living now in Westlake, and I'm paying so much, and I'm not working. So if you can do something about that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have Ade M.
That's Adele, Mr. Mayor. Here she is.
Oh, okay.
I'll be interpreting for her.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Would you kindly state your name for the record, please?
Yes, Dennis Castro, interpreting in Tagalog for Miss Manansala.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Ako po si Adelaida Manansala, leader ng Faith Action.
Good evening, everybody. I am Adele Manansala. I'm a leader with Faith in Action.
Ako po yung tinirahan ko po sa aking tahanan na harassment ang ginawa po sa akin. Pinapasokan ako sa kwarto, walang oras, alas 4 ng madaling araw, alas 9 ng madaling araw, ay madaling gabi, lahat po ng ginawa po niya sa akin.
So I was living in a situation where I was harassed by the landlord, and the landlord would come into my home at 4 o'clock in the morning without permission, at 9 o'clock in the morning without permission, at midnight without permission, and cuss me out.
Nagpapasalamat po ako na nakasapi po ako sa Faith Action. Ang Faith Action lang po sila po ang nakatulong sa akin pong problema nung panahon na yun. Kundi po ako tinulungan ng mga Faith Action, siguro po nasa homeless na rin po sana ako.
So I'm very grateful that I was able to connect with Faith in Action. It was Faith in Action that helped me during that situation, during that time. I don't know what I'd do without Faith in Action's help. I would probably be homeless by now.
5 days lang po ang delay ko po sa bahay. Pero minumura na po ako, pinapagalitan na po. Maraming salamat po.
There was one time I was late. I was delayed 5 days in paying rent, and the landlord would curse at me and harass me. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wendy Cruz?
Yes.
Translator, okay. You gave your name earlier, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I just want to be sure.
Yes.
Oh, no. Yeah, you did. Okay,
Yes, I
great.
did,
Got
I
it.
did.
Thank you.
Hola, buenas noches. Mi nombre es Wendy Cruz.
Hi, good evening. My name is Wendy Cruz.
Vivo en Daly City por 20 años.
I lived in Daly City for 20 years.
Y como ustedes han escuchado esta noche y están escuchando a nuestra comunidad atrás, están atrás, lo que yo les pido encarecidamente es que tomemos el segundo paso o la respuesta de una ley que cubrirá a nuestra comunidad.
And as you've heard here today and the community here behind me, I'm imploring you for you to take that second step and to have a response where this law becomes a reality.
Sí. Muchas gracias por escucharnos y esperamos respuestas y esperamos también trabajar juntos porque como ustedes saben y me conocen, trabajamos juntos.
We hope to hear from you soon with a response, and we want to work together with you. As you know me, I want to work together with you.
Y muchas gracias por la oportunidad.
And thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker, Abby Taylor. After Abby will be Sandru B. and Callie Calixa. Liv. Hi, Ms. Taylor.
Hi.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, my name is Abby Taylor. Today I'll be reading a testimony from someone who could not make it here today. They are a former Daly City resident who now has to live in San Jose due to the conditions of harassment that pushed them out of our community. He writes, "It all started when we moved to Westlake Apartments in Daly City in 2025. At first, we noticed damp surfaces in bedroom closets and a weird odor, which never went away. At that time, we had already signed the contract and moved in. Later on in the winter, we noticed that stuff left in these areas, specifically in closets, developed mildew. We thought at first maybe it was our fault, but it actually occurred frequently despite all our efforts. I thought initially it was because of the rain, but it wasn't. My daughter developed some skin issues, which we asked our primary care doctor about, and she mentioned the risk of moisture and mold. Afterwards, my wife was hospitalized in critical condition due to anaphylactic shock and a reaction to a mildew allergy, which she had never experienced before. Accordingly, we decided to move before the contract had ended because of the health risk. We also mentioned this to the services at Westlake in writing, but they never cared in the first place. So we're asking today for a meeting so we can hear an update on the progress from the ad hoc committee and the city staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Sandru B.
Hello. Hello, Council. My name is Sandro Bautista. I'm a leader with Faith in Action. I've been living in Daly City my whole life, and I currently go to Skyline College. Today, I come to this council again as a renter and as a resident of Daly City, and I implore the council to give us an update on the anti-harassment law. If you have a plan to enforce this law, we need an answer now. because harassment and unhealthy living is still prevalent in Daly City. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Calixa Liv.
Hi, my name is Calixa. I'm an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation here in support of Faith in Action. Socialism is a system where working people have political and economic power and are able to use that power to meet everyone's needs. If the working people of Daly City were in power, we could have safe and affordable housing for everyone. I believe that as Daly City councilors and community members, you have an obligation to work with your neighbors to solve this issue. No one should have to resort to living in a converted garage, a rat-infested apartment, or in fear of their landlords simply because they cannot afford something better. As you have seen, most of the people affected here are immigrants. That is not a coincidence. We know that this is the most vulnerable population in our country, especially right now. And despite the fact that they work hard and are a meaningful part of the community, they are not able to receive the same rights as us citizens. When we uplift this community, we uplift everyone. We can ensure that no one lives in dangerous conditions, that one job is enough to pay rent, and that people feel welcome here in Daly City. I urge this council to engage with Faith in Action leaders and present a concrete and swift plan to implement protection from landlord harassment. Thank you.
Next, if I can ask Noah Kojo Khan. Okay, hold on
Hi.
a second. And then after Noah would be Luke L. Please, welcome.
Hi, my name is Noah Kujukaru. I'm a student at SF State, and I'm also an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. And just hearing all the testimonies of all the residents of Daly City tonight has been really, it's very scary. And I don't know if you've seen any of the pictures of the kinds of conditions that people are living in, but it's simply unlivable. And it sounds like, the resolution's been passed months ago, and what people need is not it's not words, right? We need action. People are getting sicker and sicker by the day. We've heard testimonies from teachers across the city how this is impacting students. I'm sure it's impacting workers. Already, the price of living is so expensive, and the fact that people have to pay so much for terrible conditions doesn't make any sense. So we really urge you to move forward with this and, update us on your progress and plan to move forward with Faith in Action. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Luke L. And then Zarchiti Espinoza. Okay, Luke L.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, council members. My name is Luke Lazaro, and I'm a member of the Party of Socialism for Socialism and Liberation. I'm here today to ask the council and city staff to meet with Faith in Action leaders and our coalition to provide an update on the city's work to protect Daly City tenants from landlord harassment and unsafe housing conditions. Daly City may be called the gateway to the peninsula, but this is my home, and I refuse to let it be overlooked. I live near SBA Elementary, and the plumbing in my home and in many homes across Daly City is severely outdated. When I told my landlord about it, I was told to just avoid flushing toilet paper. No one should have to live like that. Safe, functional housing is literally the bare minimum, and I challenge all of you to spend a day without using toilet paper. No bidets allowed. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, Zochiti Espinoza.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is pronounced Sochi.
Zochi, okay.
Thank you. I'm here to talk about the anti-harassment law. Back in December, we passed it as a resolution, and I urge every one of you to think about it deeply. And it was a good step forward, but we really need you to keep going and make sure that this passes as a law because, as you've heard, everyone's tired. People have been living in unsafe, unhealthy conditions. I've also lived in unhealthy conditions. It's really not good for anyone. It's to continue this sort of behavior, to be threatened, to be harassed, harmed. It doesn't help anyone. If you really care about your community, you would do something about it. You can't just keep holding it off and just keep it still. We really need to keep going. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a few cards left. Next to speak, if you would come on up, is Melissa Mejia. And then we have a Thana R. Melissa?
Hello, good evening. My name is Melissa. I'm a leader here in Daly City, Faith in Action, and I've been living here my whole life. I grew up here and I was born here, and I'm here today because I have heard many stories and testimonies of families that are dealing with harassment, and it's so heartbreaking to hear. And as a student at SF State, I want to create a change, and I think you guys should be part of that change, and it should be one of your #1 priorities to create a change here. I'm also here to demand to have a meeting with you guys, to have a plan, to keep moving this forward and to keep going. I have dealt with harassment myself, and I don't want it to keep going and to go to other kids, and it should not be affecting little kids. So thank you so much for hearing us out.
Thank you. Dana R. And then our last speaker this evening will be Pablo Rubio.
Good evening. My name is Thanara Japaksi. I'm a resident of Daly City. I'm here in solidarity with Faith in Action. I'm here to ask you all to meet with Faith in Action leaders as well as the wider coalition to work on a substantial landlord anti-harassment law. It's great that the resolution was passed, but that's just the beginning. Now's the time to act on your promise to the people. Your actions moving forward regarding this matter will either increase or decrease your support. Please do the right thing and meet to draft an anti-harassment law to protect your constituents. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our last speaker will be to Pablo Rubio.
I think he had to go for a health issue.
All right, thank you. Okay, that's the last of all the cards that I have. I want to thank the community for being here this evening and speaking upon issues that concerned you. And your comments have been well noted, and thank you for spending the amount of time to be here this evening. Thank you very much. So the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. And I'll leave it up to my council members who have looked at the particular items and see if any of them would like to bifurcate or go into more detail on one specific item. Councilmember Di Giovanni had mentioned to me earlier that item number 9 should be pulled. Are there any other items? Okay, hearing none and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda with the exception of item number 9.
Motion to approve consent agenda with the exception of item number 9.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a first and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. And Ms. Denise Brown, you will speak on item number 9.
I shall.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening.
Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm going to get that. Tonight I'm here, and it is recommended that the City Council adopt a resolution to accept and appropriate additional funds of $55,391 from the San Mateo County Aging and Disability Services to the Senior and Active Adult Services Fund. The Active Adults and Senior Services Unit was offered Nutritional Services Incentive Program, NISIT funds, in the amount of $8,614 to serve 1,060 additional meals and additional county general funds in the amount of $46,777 to serve an additional 6,419 meals from San Mateo County Aging and Disability Services, totaling an additional 7,479 meals served. This grant would be in addition to a grant of $298,680 for the Congregate Nutrition Program provided by the county and previously accepted and appropriated by the City Council, Resolution 25-106. This is a reimbursement grant from the City of Daly, grant with the City of Daly City incurring costs for purchases in the Congregate Nutrition Program, with the county paying invoices on an ongoing basis. Staff is available to provide any additional information desired by the mayor or council members.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Councilmember Di Giovanni, you requested that this item be pulled. Do you have any questions for Ms.
Thank you,
Brown?
Mr. Mayor. First of all, thank you, Denise, for everything that you guys do there. My question is, are you getting enough money? Do you see a decrease in the amount of money? I know you guys try to get grants because it's such a great program, and you're feeding so many people. Is the increase also the number of people? And is my second point. But are you seeing that there's a need, and does it match the dollar amount?
So the senior lunch program is highly subsidized by the City of Daly City, but what the San Mateo County Aging and Disability Services Department provides to us, these are funds outside of the basic funds that we receive. And one of the reasons we do receive extra funding is because of the due diligence of the staff that provide the program, not just hands-on with Opal and her team, but also what Jennifer Durr, the Recreation Services Manager, does in order to reconcile all the reports and get them to the county in a timely manner. So what we do gets us a little bit more back than other entities, so.
Yeah, well, that's a lot to be proud of, because I do think it, we have seniors that go to different cities every once in a while, but I would say that we're proud that you go above and beyond. So I just wanted to highlight that and appreciate your time to report, and everyone under you that works with you as a team, because I know you all are a team. So I appreciate that, and that program is stellar. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
So the people at home know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Di Giovanni. Any other questions? Councilmember Di Giovanni, would you be happy to make the motion to approve this item?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'd like to make a motion to adopt on the consent agenda, item number 9.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
Second.
I think I heard Dr. Rod first.
Okay.
Let me look at my screen to see who chimed up. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none and seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Brown. Okay. That was a consent. Moving on to item number 12, adoption of an ordinance adding chapter 15.09 to the Daly City Municipal Code, establishing construction hours on private property. And it's Mr. Lunkhausen. Good evening.
Good evening. Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council.
I'm going to actually be giving the next 3 presentations, despite the names that are listed. We're aware that you have a meeting after this meeting, so we're going to keep our presentations on these items fairly concise. This is a request by the City of Daly City to essentially amend the city's municipal code to include construction hours on private property. As all of us are aware, construction can sometimes become a noisy thing, especially when it's conducted, outside. The city receives complaints about this, not that often, but we do receive them, and oftentimes the result is to point to the city's general noise regulations, which essentially prohibit any noise between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. But we've found that we need to have a little bit more of a regulatory role in construction noise. This has been done through the use of conditions of approval in the past. The city for a long time relied on Public Works standard permit guidelines, but those only pertain to work in the public right-of-way. And so we're sort of in a situation where we need to have a uniform regulation of construction hours that we can tell people this is essentially the law. So to come up with our proposed construction hours, we thought it would be a good idea to survey all of the cities in the county, as well as the large cities in the Bay Area. The city of San Francisco, the city of San Jose were included for this reason. We went into the next county, Palo Alto, Mountain View. The survey that we conducted is included as an attachment to your staff report. And the big takeaway here is that regulating construction hours and imposing fines, et cetera, for violating those construction hours is not something that's uncommon in cities. It's actually very common. Daly City is one of the only larger cities in the Bay Area that does not have such regulations. This is just the list of the surveys, and we can review any of these if you'd like. So essentially, using the information provided in the survey, the city staff developed an ordinance that established construction hours, outdoor construction hours, as follows: on weekdays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., on Saturdays between 9 a.m. and 8 p.m., and then construction would be prohibited on Sundays and federal holidays unless an exception is granted. So one of the things that we're wanting to point out is that the construction hours would only pertain to work that's being conducted outside. So people who are remodeling their bathroom or their kitchen or anything like that, that's inside work that would not be regulated by this ordinance. Also, interior retail renovations, including large tenant improvements, and for example, in the shopping centers, not regulated by this ordinance. The thought being that the noise for that is not, it's kind of contained inside and not really causing a problem to the public. So that's not that is not being regulated. Some of the other provisions included in the ordinance are limiting material deliveries, allowing staging 1 hour before. That's the sort of like warming up equipment on site before work begins. We thought there should be an allowance for that. Requiring some signs so that the public's aware that there is a noise regulation in place, as well as the allowance of the building official or their designee to allow some exceptions, because there are some times when we do need to, for example, allow pouring foundations. Sometimes Sunday is the only time it can happen, or a holiday is the only time it can happen. That comes up quite a bit, and we do need to have some allowances for that. The enforcement is essentially going to be done through the building division and code enforcement. We've tried to come up with an enforcement mechanism that's got some teeth in it. We didn't think that coming up with a low dollar amount fine was going to matter to anybody. So we proposed that there would be warning notices, and most importantly here is inspection holds if necessary. And we hope we never get to that with anybody, but we do have the ability through this ordinance to do that if we should need to do that. So the violations are treated as a public nuisance, et cetera. This proposal is exempt from CEQA, and this item did not go to the Planning Commission. This is not an amendment to the zoning ordinance, so we're coming straight to the City Council with it. We do recommend the City Council adopt it. We're, of course, available to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Mr. Longhausen. We do have a question, and I'll start off with Councilmember Manalo, please.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and thank you, Mayor. The question I have is, I think you said there is a process or a stop order that happens, what is that mechanism? Like, what are the exact, like, steps? Like, is it a phone call that happens to your particular department? Is it a phone call that happens to our police department? Like, what is that outlined?
Right. So basically, members of the public can contact any city department, and if it comes to the attention of the building official would, I mean, we're not in the business of shutting down construction. That's a last resort. And so what we would do is have a conversation with the violator, let them know, hey, you're operating outside of the hours that are of permissible construction. We've received a public complaint about it. The city staff is not going to be driving around looking for noise violations. This is a complaint-based sort of a regulation, but if somebody does complain, we'll have a conversation with the job superintendent, the general contractor, whoever's in charge, let them know that we received that complaint and that if it continues, that we will, it will result in a delay of inspections. And that's a very important thing because one thing contractors hate is delayed inspections. But if it comes to that, and the likelihood that it comes to that is going to be very low, but we do have that enforcement ability.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Manalo. Anyone else? Dr. Rod, please.
I'm just curious, how was it decided for the 8 a.m., 8 p.m.? Were there any other options considered?
Well, we essentially took a look at the survey.
Okay. Oh, the survey.
Yeah, so the planning division staff, Sam Fielden, took a survey of other cities. And we took a look at all of the hours and yeah, it's kind of a mix. Some allow earlier, some allow later. And we should say the city council can set whatever hours you'd like to see in this ordinance. The staff's bringing this to you as a something that we need to regulate. And if you think 7 o'clock's better than 8 o'clock, of course, we can make 7 o'clock be the hour. It's just that we need to have a uniform set of regulations we tell people so that everybody's subject to the same thing. We don't have this company subject to certain hours and this company subject to something else, and some people don't have regulations at all. We can't have that. We have to have everybody subject to the same law. So if you feel the need to digest this, and this isn't some burning topic, we can of course come back with it. But that is what we just threw out there in terms of the hours.
That's it for me.
Thank you, Dr. Rod. Councilmember Manalo.
Thank you, Mayor. And I think on the heels of what Dr. Rod was asking, I think if we're looking at time-wise for those that are doing construction, like what is the most, I think the most ample light, like whether it is in whatever season. I think that's a way we can look at what the breadth of 7 to 7, or so
Yeah.
then we're looking at the opportunity for those doing construction. So I think looking at where the most daylight is, obviously, within the morning until the evening. I think that's a way we could look at it.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah. The cities we surveyed didn't do that, but dawn to dusk makes sense too. It makes perfect sense to me.
Thank you, Mr. Lunkhausen. I'm just grinning up here because I already made notes. And the rest of my colleagues fell right into it. And they basically came up with the suggestions that I was going to come up with. My concern was you have daylight savings.
Sure.
And if the whole idea, I'm sure, is to cut down on noise, but I'm wondering, in daylight savings, then you have the propensity where construction sites may utilize a lot of light. And that may shine into folks' home at nighttime. And looking at your the other samples up there, no one, and Councilmember Manalo said it, nowhere does it addresses the change of the seasons in reference to light. Even if it means when it's brighter longer, but darker in the morning, then maybe we can adjust the hours that they can start earlier. But I think that would be too much work for code enforcement, because from what I gather from you, we will not be actively looking to basically find the folks, but we should have something on the books than nothing at all. So I can see the thoughtfulness that went into this. When you talk about shopping malls and they're working inside, or someone's working on their bathrooms at home, uh, you you folks put a lot of thought into it. I really like your survey, but I would recommend considering the daylight hours as a top priority, because that changes during the year. So I
Through the
mean,
chair.
yes, I'm open.
Vice Mayor's got her hand up.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I
Okay.
have a question too.
That's my thought. But other than that, Mr. Longhausen, very, very good. Vice Mayor, please.
Thank you very much. I note, if I noted correctly, it was indicated Monday to Friday, 8 to 8, with Saturday, 9 to 8, and this is only outside. What I didn't notice was anything on a Sunday. There, do we not have Sundays? Some of these other cities do have Sunday, but I don't see that for Daly. Oh, construction prohibited. Why would that be on Sunday?
Again, we're
Other
just
cities do, it showed on your list that some cities did have Sunday.
sure. Again, we were just throwing it out there. Some cities don't allow a Sunday. And I think
yeah,
part
go
of our rationale was we took a look at what our conditions of approval have been in the past also. But again, this is open for discussion. It's whatever the city council feels is appropriate in Daly City.
Right. The only reason I would say, I mean, some people may only have a Sunday if they're doing the work themselves. Not everybody could afford to, say, hire someone. So if they're doing it themselves in their home, I would think, I don't know, what do the other council members think? I just think that as long as it's daylight hours, why shouldn't they be able to do work on their home on a Sunday? That's just my thought. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Vice Mayor. What, Councilmember Dejiron, did you have something you wanted to ask?
Well, she's still, does she still have a
Yeah,
question?
she was done.
Okay.
The only thing I think alluding to Councilmember Manalo and the Vice Mayor, and Mike, can you go back to that slide showing the hours?
Yes. And again, just to reiterate, this is only for outside work, council member.
Outside work, okay.
Rania.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, keep going. Right there.
Yeah.
So something like weekdays and Saturdays, that's good, with the exception of daylight savings time, 6 p.m., just during daylight savings time. It's a thought. I'm just thinking out loud here, that's all.
Sure.
Just during daylight saving. All days as listed, with the exception of daylight savings time, well, the time will be 6 p.m.
We can make an adjustment for daylight savings time. We can also do dawn to dusk. It's a little trickier. We'd have to use whatever the weather service reports to be the sunrise and sunset of the particular day.
Well, if I was a developer, that confused me.
Yeah.
Dawn to dusk. That's when the sun goes down, right?
Right. That's
When the sun
dusk, yeah.
comes up.
Well, yeah.
Does the sun ever come up at 6 a.m.?
I'm not exactly sure. Somewhere.
You know, so it's just a thought. What do you folks think? Anything? Because I'm just concerned about the lights. You know, if
Sure.
you say you can go to 8 p.m. at night and the construction site outside has these blaring lights, well, they can do it until 8 p.m. That's my only thought. And with the lights probably comes deliveries, probably comes, what's the lights there so they can see? It all depends on the type of work they're doing. I don't know, it's
Well,
just my thought, Mike.
I think
You
I'm
have more
understanding your
experience.
issue more clearly. It's that if we set the time where they're allowing work in the dark, that construction lighting could cause an impact to residents.
Well, that's my thought.
I see.
Okay. Anyone? Do you want me to?
It's tricky.
What do you want me? Maybe I tell you what. I'll meet you halfway instead of 8. I'll go to 7.
Oh, you can
But
look
what
at
if
the
it's light
survey.
at 8?
It's what, light?
Yeah.
If it's light at 8, you're fine, just as long as you're done by 8. But during non-daylight savings, I think it gets dark at 6.
Yep, like sometimes 5.
Or 5 o'clock,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And during daylight savings, it gets dark at 8:30. So, the 8 is good, but what about when it gets dark?
Right. And a lot of our contractors, it should be said, or work up in San Francisco. We do share that sort of the contractor community. And as you can see, the first agency essentially has, no, they're kind of, pretty, loosey-goosey. So, yeah, so it's kind of a interesting thing. We could do this if the council would like, could adopt the first reading, and then at the second reading, we could come back with a more refined version that considers daylight savings time or something like that.
Yeah. That sounds good.
That's good, Mr. Lunkhausen. You're the expert.
On this one, it's kind of, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's really it's a community standard sort of thing. City manager
Tom?
has a.
Vice Mayor.
Oh.
Thank you, Mayor. I would also request that we have a little discussion but I think a Sunday, as long as it's during daylight hours, a Sunday would also be something good for people to have that option. Now, we're talking homes and, I just want to double check, not just homes, it could be other construction as well, is that correct?
It's everything. In fact, we were going to exclude single-family homes, but then what we did is we made it outside work only. So people who are remodeling anything inside their home, this ordinance doesn't apply to them at all. So next door neighbor calls and says, hey, they're remodeling their kitchen on a Sunday. This ordinance does not apply to that.
I'm sorry, I still think Sunday's necessary. Thank you. Just my opinion.
I'm having trouble understanding. So, Vice Mayor, you said you would like to include Sundays for work or exclude?
I would like to include Sunday and just treat it as a weekend, so as they would a Saturday. I'd like to see that there. I just think that since it's not as much large construction, but if we're including homes, then that would be, I think, important to have that option. A homeowner, they may be doing their own work, but not to be able to do it on a Sunday. That's more my concern.
Okay, well, so what I'm hearing, Sundays, even though it is not permitted, with the exception if you're working on your home, single-family home. Is that what I'm hearing? You want to allow that, someone to work on their home. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, although I'm looking at city and county of San Francisco, it's 7 days a week. City of South San
South City
Francisco
is also, right.
also allows Saturday and Sunday and holidays. But to asking that no level, the noise level not exceed 90 decibels, is that what I show? And then City of San Mateo, that's different, right? It's City of San Mateo saying Sunday and city observed holidays, so it would be 12 to 4.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Yeah, and so I'm going down the line and
Right.
I'm seeing a lot of
Sure, the larger cities. Mhm.
Yes, yes. And we're considered a larger city.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Let's look at these ones here.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Manalo.
Yeah, no, I definitely see the rationale on, individual homeowners that may be doing work on their homes themselves. But then I also look at if we are doing it on Sundays, if it's a proximity to worship centers, then I'm like, then the noise, that noise could interfere with services. So I don't know how that plays a role in that. So yeah, we're in a
Good point, Councilmember. Any further? Because Councilmember DiGiovanni.
no, it was just a thought. Like, I mean, I think there should be what the vice mayor said, allowing like homeowners to be able to do maybe some of their work, and they can't do it during the week because they work a Monday to Friday job, right? But then maybe we have to look at something where if the home is by, I don't know, I'm not trying to complicate things, but
Within
I'm
500
just,
feet of a place
yeah.
of worship.
We can do that.
Yeah, I feel like that it's gonna, I mean, there's a sermon and then there's like construction or, I don't know, you know.
We can put whatever you want in there.
Yeah.
Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Yeah, I can see where there's going to be like a compromise, but I like the fact that there's no Sunday because of the majority of people, not everybody works different shifts, right? And then if people are working on their own home outside, usually they have to get permits. And the majority of the people, I would think, to be a contractor. And then when you report something, you can't really report it on a Sunday to stop whatever construction thing is going on. So that side of it, if it's, people might just say, hey, I'm going to just do it on a Sunday and I'll get it done. And then they'll forget that they can report me on a Monday. So I don't know. There's all kinds of thought patterns. And I see where the respect of the neighbor comes in hand with for noise and not doing it on the holidays. I think that's what we already have. I think that I like that, not doing it on those Sundays and holidays. I think it's respectful of the neighbors on that realm for the noise, because if not, we're going to get a lot of noise complaints, and that's what I think. That's just my 2 cents, Mr. Mayor.
The noise complaints we have received are about work beginning too early in the day.
Right.
And we haven't received any about Sunday, but that may be because construction, usually by merchant builders, people who are building homes, usually don't work on Sunday. But
Correct.
they probably do from time to time. It depends on, meeting deadlines. It probably happens, but we haven't
They
received.
don't, yeah. They usually don't.
Yeah.
Contractors don't.
We haven't received any complaints about Sunday work.
Thank you I think it's a good compromise.
All right, well, I think there are two trains of thoughts here, and let's bear in mind that the whole idea why this is before us, because it's adoption of some sort of ordinance to where we had none at all before in the past. All the ideas that I've heard tonight is definitely outstanding. But I think it should be considered, and we can come to a consensus. And Mr. Longhausen, you've even explained it to us. Hey, it's whatever you folks want. But I've heard some good things up here this evening, and I think, are we in a hurry to adopt this?
No, we're not.
Would you kindly consider taking some of these ideas and maybe come back to us? Is that possible?
It's absolutely possible.
What do you think, Council?
But for staff, yeah.
So the issue was never on the Sunday. I'm thinking of the song "Never on the Sunday," and but what has been said on council, considering the ideas about daylights, nighttime work. Was there anything else that you would like Mr. Longhausen to come back on? Yes, Dr. Ryan.
I guess if I might be wrong, but if you can please let me know. I think it was one of the pattern was prohibited on Sundays and holidays. Was that correct as well?
That's right.
Except for the residential, right? If you're working inside on your house.
Oh, you're saying outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ordinance only applies to work being done outside.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. It only pertains to work on private property, I might add. Work in the public right-of-way is a whole different thing.
Okay. Yeah. And then looking at the hours, it just seems like the pattern, or kind of like the reoccurring theme that I see, is that a lot of the cities start at 7 a.m. Besides South San Francisco. So I think that's, I know we're playing with the idea of like daylight savings time, but just looking at a lot of the, what's the regular pattern or the frequency, it looks like 7 a.m. is a good start time. And I feel like a lot of them end up at 7 p.m. Because what I'm trying to look at is like comparable to our population, but then I'm also trying to consider like we have a different microclimate here.
Sure.
of the climate.
And the city council can adopt something, and if it's not working, we can always come back,
Right.
3 years from now
Okay.
and make amendments.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
Good point.
So this is a good conversation because it gives us a flavor for maybe what you're all looking for, and
Okay.
it sounds like maybe a little more lenient than what we were, if we consider the vice mayor's input. I mean, right, Sundays, which is totally fine.
Oh,
We
Sam.
just we just threw something out. Of course,
Uh-huh.
it's your decision to make.
Sam?
I just wanted to mention, one thing that I haven't brought up is like quality of life issues, like
Right.
having one day, Sunday, for quiet and peace in the community, in the neighborhood, is,
Yeah.
I think, one thing that you might want to consider. Yeah, that was just one thought. I think that's one of the reasons, like, cities will typically not allow construction on Sundays, so that at least one day during the week, they're
There's some
not
point.
hearing construction outside from their house.
Well, I'm sure we can come to a compromise. And hearing that from you, Mr. Felding, I would say, okay, well, we'll let you work on a Sunday, but one Sunday every month. I mean, there's so many things that we can do, but thank you
you
for
can
that.
really get in the weeds with this.
Well, one other thing, last thing, just keep in mind, there's also that, built in the ordinance is that exception where
That's right.
the applicants can come and talk to the building official and.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Vice Mayor can't hear you.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Sam Fielding with planning. One thing to keep in mind also is that there's a built-in exception there where people that are doing construction can come to speak with the building official and request a special exception to do construction, like say on a Sunday if they have to do it on a Sunday, or outside those hours if they need be. So there isn't there is that option always there.
That's true.
All right, thank you. All right, Vice Mayor, you still have your hand up? Did you want to add?
No, I'd be happy to pipe in, or if it's helpful. I'm as a homeowner myself, and as a homeowner that we do a lot of whatever we need to do, painting or gardening or fixing this or that, to have to worry that some neighbor's going to turn somebody in because, I like the idea of perhaps time. So a Sunday, maybe you say start at 10 o'clock and finish by 6 or something. But I mean, some people, they work Saturdays or they work during the week and they're doing the work themselves. And so to take away a day, it doesn't seem feasible to me. I mean, it just, somebody's going to use that. And
That's
I
fair
just
enough,
think
yeah.
that as a homeowner, we're talking about homeowner. When I was reading through some of these, one of them said, no, what is that piling when you're banging into the ground? Well, that wouldn't be a home. That would be huge construction, right? That
Right.
would be apartment buildings or whatever it is you build. So perhaps we keep homeowners separate from true construction. Would that be something we could do?
So what I'm hearing is the Sunday exception might only be homeowners.
I'm just saying
Properties
is
in
that, to
the
take
R1.
away the opportunity to improve your home or your residence.
Sure.
I'd like to see everybody
Track that.
pull their weeds and keep their front of their house clean. So
Right.
anyway, thank you for your time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've built a backyard structure myself on a Sunday, so I mean, I understand the comment.
It's hard to track who's a homeowner.
Great. All right, well, Mr. Lunkhausen, why don't we do that? Would you kindly come back to us with more additional information based upon the comments received?
Yes.
And we can always modify them or agree with them, and so we can get this passed, because we have nothing. Okay? Any thoughts? Oh, okay. Councilmember Nalo, go ahead.
I do. I have one more thought. In regards to, I think, can we get an analysis on major construction and whether or not during that time do they do use Sundays as a time for them to
Absolutely.
work? I think we need to factor that in. In the development world, every day counts. And when there's rainy days, that can delay things. But I think we need to put that into account when we look at whether it is large housing developments or commercial development, that as business owners, that's going to be time is money. So I think we have to look at those factors.
You know what we can do is we'll talk to our two major projects under construction, one of which the ordinance would not apply, which is the 99 Southgate at Westlake Mall. There's an apartment building under construction. So this only applies to projects that haven't received a building permit yet. The KB Homes project in the Bay Shore, this ordinance would only apply to any building permits that haven't been issued yet, which is quite a few. So we'll talk to them and find out. That's a good idea. We certainly can do that. We're going to suggest maybe April 27th for the continuance date, if that's something that works.
Yes. Okay. Good? Yes. Is that agreeable?
Sounds good to me.
April, come back. April.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. All right, Mr. Lunkhausen, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Rosa, did they need to vote on the continuance or?
No, we're just going to come back for another reintroduction of the ordinance.
Sounds good.
Thank you. All
Okay.
right, the next item is item number 13, zone change. ZC02-26-17000, amendments to the City of Daly City's municipal code. Mr. Lunkhouse, you going to do this one too?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. This item did go to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission recommended its approval. In this is a set of changes to the city's zoning ordinance. Some are housing related, some are items that we've sort of dealt with before. And one is related to front yard paving. I believe a couple of council members were on council when the front yard paving regulations were adopted. Maybe you, Mayor, and
Right.
Councilmember Manalo. Yeah, so you probably remember all the work that went into coming up with the front yard paving regulations. Not to get out of order, but yeah, there was a citizens advisory committee and a lot of thought that went into it. Yeah. So, but anyway, this is a set of regulatory changes in the city's zoning ordinance, and I'll just sort of explain them verbally. I think that's probably the easiest thing to do. The first is a height definition, and this is all included in your staff report, the exact language. Yeah. When the city adopted the CMU zoning regulations, we inadvertently removed the regular height definition for all of the buildings in the city. So we need to put that back in the zoning ordinance.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something we need to do. But the upside of having to do that is that we've come up with a regulation that has some clarity to it. It's essentially the old regulation, but removes some of the additional jargon, if you will, that was in the old regulation. And let me see if we have that here. I know for sure we have a graphic on it.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so if we look at the bottom drawing, essentially what the city does is it regulates the building heights based on the average of the, and I'm sorry I don't have a pointer. We take a look at the height of every building, and of course, all the buildings in Daly City are all on sloping lots and aren't a perfect square sitting on flat land. But we take this measurement on all four sides, and every building doesn't just have four sides, so it gets kind of complicated. And we take that height and we average it so that some buildings are taller on one side and shorter on the other, but they all have to average, for example, in the single-family zoning district, 30 feet. In the non-residential zoning districts, as you may recall, when the city adopted its housing element, we adopted not only our housing element, but implementation measures right off the bat. and we allowed essentially very tall buildings. I think on Mission Street we allowed 10 or 12-story buildings. So, if the market ever produces something like that, and it's probably going to be a long time coming, we're not going to have a height regulation issue there. But for single-family houses, that's essentially, what we did. So we reintroduced the language for the definition of building height. And we can go over any of these that you'd like. So the next two, use permit approvals and design review approvals, were essentially our proposed changes to the expiration of permits that are unused. And by unused, the zoning ordinance says if you haven't received a building permit. And of course, one of the things we're working on is getting people their building permits faster. But it's not, as a matter of fact, it's not usually related to that it takes longer than a year. Developers have to line up construction financing and permanent financing, and those things just take a long time to do. And so this is why the city council has oftentimes seen requests for time extensions. We've had design review committee meetings just to grant a time extension. Yeah. And now the developers have become keen to the fact that they can request, upon their initial approval, time extensions be granted. And you've seen that come before you. And usually the city council is very generous with that and allows it. But what we wanted to do was come up with a regulatory scheme where we would allow for a longer start time. And what we've come up with is that we would allow 3 years. Well, this went to the Planning Commission, and they had a little bit of a different idea, which is totally fine. We had no issue with that. And of course, this is one of the things that the city council can decide what they'd like. But the initial staff idea was 3 years with a 2-year time extension. And when the item went to the Planning Commission thought it should just be 5 years with no time extension. So, again, this is something, and this is on design review and use permits. This is whatever, you can pick the time. It could be 10 years if you'd like, or 2 years. So that's the second and third items. The fourth is that we're proposing the removal of the requirement for a use permit for condominium maps. And the reason for this is that when we adopted our housing element, we actually have an implementation measure to essentially reduce some of the discretionary review that's associated with constructing buildings. We're actually obligated to the state of California to do this. We'll always need to approve a subdivision map for a condominium, but what we don't want to do is have a use permit where there's additional discretion, because the use permit process, or not process, but that additional entitlement is very discretionary in nature. And without any sort of objective standards, which is kind of hard to do for a use permit, we're sort of in a a territory where we have a discretionary review, and a lot of this development is supposed to be non-discretionary. So while a developer may propose a condominium map, that'll come to Planning Commission and City Council, we're proposing that the use permit requirement that currently exists be removed from the zoning ordinance, and that's the fourth bullet. And then the fifth bullet is the front yard landscaping, and this is something that we deal with on a pretty much a daily basis. Not so much the issue of people who don't want to comply with it, but front yard paving permits are given out almost daily. And what a lot of people have said is, why do I need to provide a landscape triangle? So currently, the zoning regulations require that 25% of your front yard remain in landscaping. And this drawing shows sort of a typical, Westlake house or St. Francis neighborhood front yard, where the 25% landscaping is provided. When this went to the City Council back in 2017, the City Council decided that, and this is based on the staff presentation, that the landscape triangle would be required. The problem is that we didn't actually include that in the zoning ordinance. So now we're getting a lot of pushback from the public that's saying, where does that happen? Why do I have to do a landscape triangle? And where does it say it in the zoning ordinance that I have to do a landscape triangle? And the reason for the landscape triangle is because people park in this area here. Yep. And what we've had problems with in the past, and part of the reason that we came up with our front yard paving regulations, is people were paving their entire front yard. And aesthetically, this was leading to problems. There was a lot of, and part of why this came to the city council as a topic, a lot of community complaints about all the front yard being paved. You drive up some of the streets, and yeah, every inch of the front yard's paved. So one of the problems that we're also having is that people would back out over the city sidewalk and over the city curb.
Oh.
And we had an instance where a car was hit also when somebody was backing out. And so the idea here, and this is many years ago, but the idea here with the triangle is to direct the car to the driveway. So this is because people park on this, right? So the whole objective here was, just to refresh your memories, was to provide additional parking opportunities. So that was the rationale for it. People want to know where it says they have to do a landscape triangle, and that's why we're proposing a zoning. It's a very simple amendment to the zoning ordinance, landscape triangle required. If they don't want to do a landscape triangle, they are allowed to basically plunk a tree in the middle of it, and there's another option for that. But most people do this. And I would say, what do you think, 95%? Yeah. So, and we're also requesting a clarification that side yards not be paved. We've had a recent situation where somebody wanted to, not only did they complain about having to do the landscape triangle, they also wanted to pave their side yard. This is all private property. And we don't want, on corner lots especially, when you look at that house, to have all of it concrete. This was supposed to be a provision of additional parking, not pave it because we like concrete or don't like to cut the lawn. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, gophers. And so we're proposing a change to clarify that paving's not allowed in the side yard. So those are essentially the changes that are included in this zoning ordinance amendment.
Is that it, Mr. Lunko?
That's it.
All right, any questions?
I just have
Dr. Rod?
one quick question. So with this proposal, does that mean like a lot of these things will get grandfathered in? So like, let's just say that like a current house has their whole everything is all paved.
They're good.
They're okay for now. So okay.
Right. We use Google Street View has historical images, and we use that to determine who's grandfathered, because that's a great question, and it actually comes up a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Before I start, Vice Mayor, anything from you? There she goes.
No, well, it is a very interesting, and thank you for asking. Michael, thank you for the presentation. We probably have all noticed the changes in driveways in the last 20, 30 years in the city of Daly City. And I totally understand where, I mean, as I've driven, I know many of you, if you drive up, let's say a major road like Hillside, for instance, early or very late, you've got at least even cars parked sideways, double cars, as many cars as they can place onto their property. And so I understand the predicament. Now, I just want to double check with that landscape triangle. Are we trying to make sure it's in writing, or it isn't in writing, and you're trying to make sure it's there?
We're trying to make sure it is in writing, because there's nothing in the zoning ordinance that says that you have to do a landscape triangle.
And how long have we been telling people they should do a triangle?
We haven't.
No, for 9 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
so for 9 years you've been letting people know. And how did it start 9 years ago?
Well, 9 years ago, the city council adopted the zoning change to allow front yard paving. And at that time, we presented to the city council that we would, there was essentially two, and I don't think the other drawings here, but there's essentially two possibilities.
Yep.
There was one where you could plant a tree in the middle of your yard. You could pave the rest of it, but you'd have to plant something where parking's not allowed. And if you'd like, I can explain the whole rationale. When you're going to park on your front yard, it triggers different requirements from the city. The city's Department of Water and Wastewater Resources, for example, if you're going to drive over a water meter, it needs to be traffic rated. And replacing that can be just a little more costly. And so that's something that's, for example, required if you're going to park on your paved front yard. So there's a regulatory difference in that way. And so when it came to the city council, going back to the answering your question, Vice Mayor, when it came to the city council, 9 years ago, all of this was sort of flushed out. But the problem is that we didn't put that a landscape triangle was required. We put the 25% landscaping had to be retained, but there's nothing, even though all the presentations included the landscape triangle, there was nothing that actually said it. So now the public's, becoming, you can't blame them, they're becoming, increasingly like, where does it say that? And so now what we're proposing that the ordinance be changed to say that.
And just real quick, so what I'm hearing is the triangle serves two purposes. One, it protects a meter or whatever that is, whatever might be there. And the other thing is, I'm seeing, it says stormwater
That's right.
runoff.
Right.
And then also so that people don't park, like in that photo, potentially they could park 3 vehicles if you did, but they could still park on top of the grass though.
It's illegal, technically.
Technically.
You're not supposed to park on lawn in Daly City.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so that triangle
Or anything unpaved.
keeps you, no worries. That triangle would keep, let's say the people who live in that house in the photo, you keep 3 cars off. Maybe they only park 2. Is that kind of what you're trying to do?
We're not really trying to accommodate any particular number of cars. The whole objective of the triangle, and this graphic shows it the best, is to direct a car that's backing up off the property and into the street, direct it to the driveway curb cut. See the yellow arrow, sort of?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we don't want people rolling over the curb, almost hitting another car. Like I said, that happened once. Yep. So that's it. And it also, there's a secondary benefit of, the stormwater runoff also goes into the landscape triangle, so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Makes sense. Thank you so much.
Mayor?
Thank you, Vice Mayor, Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Thank you, Mayor. So you're right. Back in that, and then you had that citizens advisory, because I remember it wasn't on the council, but I remember that. Lily Louie was one of those on there,
right.
along with other ones. And then you said about the pavers, right? That was a big thing. And then actually some of the places look really beautiful, but the fact that it wasn't on the books for you, and then it started growing, I see the issue. Because you had to have, I remember the pavers, because you were talking about the storm water and how it had to be drainage. So that's something that's pretty mandatory, right?
Right.
Yeah, which I thought, and it made it look like decent as well. You had that space where people were able to put, again, the flowers or whatever they wanted to put, but yet they couldn't do the side yard or the angle, and couldn't park in which I thought that was a good idea.
Back
So now,
in 2017, we completely missed the side yard topic. So
Right.
it's just been something that, we've been inconsistent. It's an enforcement. Some people have been allowed to do it. Some people haven't. It's just been all over the place. And we can't have that. We need to treat every member of the public needs to receive the same set of regulations. So.
you really did. I remember that during the whole, the citizen advisory and all that. It was pretty intense because people had different, but you did come up with something that was very comparable.
Yeah.
And, thank you for all of this as well, because we need to support and let people know it is on the books. You need to let them know. And if it's not on the books, they can pretty well do what they want.
Yep.
But thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I'm in support.
Thank you, Councilmember DiGiovanni. Mr. Longhausen, couple of questions. pertaining to items number 3 and 4. What was the requirements for after it's been entitled and before work is done? What was out? How much time did we allow as a city prior?
It's been 1 year. It's in the city's, these two sections, it's the second and third items in 1744 and 45.
Right.
It actually specifies 1 year.
Okay. How many permits in a normal project is required? Based upon your experience.
Oh, how many different, like, types of city permits?
Yeah.
Oh.
Within the project.
I mean, if we're talking about mechanical and electrical, I mean.
Everything.
There's a sewer connection.
Runabout.
Probably between 10 and 15. I'm just,
10 to 15?
yeah.
Are any of those permits run concurrently?
They can all run concurrently.
They can all run concurrently. So it has been the practice of the city to allow 1 year. And what happens after 1 year if the project is still in the works or has not been started?
Well, the city staff tries to alert developers that their year is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that hasn't happened, just because we didn't notice, or, and we've been fairly liberal with allowing them to apply, even though they might be a little, couple months after the expiration. And the city council's been very generous in granting those. So, am I hopefully answering your question?
Yeah, you are. I mean, and it's my understanding that you folks recommending, instead of 1 year, let's make it 3 years.
That's correct.
With the possibility of obtaining an extension, and I guess to obtain an extension for just cause and adequate reasons, whether it could be the financial climate, whether it, could be a host of different things.
Right.
So after 3 years, and if an extension is requested, how long would we give the extension for?
The initial staff concept was 2 more years.
Okay, right. That's what I thought.
In reality, the city council can give as many years as they would like.
Okay.
Although this would be in code, I suppose. But what's been happening lately is that we've, with the 1 year thing, is the city council's been giving the 1 year and then giving automatic,
Right.
if that's the right word, extensions right at the initial approval.
Right.
So
the recommendation was to go 5 years with no extensions. Is that correct?
the planning commission's recommendation to the city council was 5 years, no extensions.
Well, quite frankly, I don't agree with that because I think 5 years is too long to encumber a piece of property and nothing happens. Having the capability of what your planning divisions, what they suggested was 3 years, and then if there is a request to come back before council,
Right.
and we as council can say another 2 years,
Right.
and for some reason it's still not completed, they can come back to council. We can give another 2 years. Why cut it off at 5 and say that's the end all be all? So to my
good point.
colleagues, I think we should modify that and go with the recommendation of planning, which is 3 years, with additional extensions as required to be approved by council. And I'm sure they'd show just cause. Why?
Yeah,
What do you
agree.
think?
Yeah.
Start? Okay. All right, I don't see anybody raising their hand. All right, so that's all I have at this particular time. So with that being said, I apologize, I didn't do this on item number 12, but I am going to do it on item number 13. At this time, I would like to open the public hearing on this matter. Do we have any cards on this matter? No, we don't have any card. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing at this time.
So moved.
Second?
We have first and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, so I would have someone entertain a motion for a change to item number 2, to go back to the regular recommendation of planning for the extension of the initial permit to be 3 years, and additional extensions will be approved by council as needed, providing that just cause is shown. Change those instead of knock out the 5 years.
To be clear, did you want that to apply to the second and third items or only the second item? You mentioned only number 2. Use permits and design review?
Well, design review, wouldn't that be also part of the permit process for the whole project?
Yes. So both.
I first said items number 3 and 4, but I meant number
Right,
2 and
understood.
3. Right.
Okay.
Councilmember Manal, I can see that look. Go ahead.
No, you're saying that instead of 5 years, to remain it at 3?
Planning is recommending 5 years with no extensions.
Oh, I see.
That's it. But if we do that, then the property is encumbered for
That's
5
true.
years, and come 4 years and 10 months, then they decide, well, we're not going to do the project. And it's been encumbered. I think having 3 years will kind of give the impetus, hey, we really need to start moving.
Right.
And if it doesn't happen because of external circumstances, then we
Yeah.
can give an extension, as council has always done.
And
I'll
sometimes what
second
happens.
that, if that's your motion.
Yeah.
Who made the motion first? I was just recommending for
Oh,
somebody
I thought
to
you
make
made
the
it
motion.
already. I was like,
Oh, okay, all right, okay, thank you, Councilmember Manalo. Yes, okay, I like to make that motion, and Councilmember Manalo is the second. Okay, any further discussion or questions, concerns?
Nope.
So on the motion, so we have a motion for the city attorney to read by title only with the suggested changes. Does that sound correct, Madam City Attorney? Okay, you have the floor.
We need a
Oh,
motion.
we have to take a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes, Madam City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. This is with the amended changes, a motion for title only, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Daly City amending Chapter 17 of the Municipal Code regarding zoning ordinance updates. And council member may introduce an ordinance.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney, and I'll be more than happy to introduce the ordinance. Thank you. All right, moving on. Item number 14, zone change, ZZ04-24-16507, adoption of commercial cannabis, non-retail, combining district and amendments to the zoning map. Mr. Lunkhausen.
Yes. So this item's been before the City Council, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. The last time you saw this was back in, I believe, September. The initial idea well, we can kind of get into the background section here. I think all of you are familiar with the city's regulation of retail cannabis. Essentially, we have 12 eligibility zones throughout the city, of which 230 properties qualify. The concept, going back a little ways, was to expand this to additional properties. And so the city staff took a look at doing that. I'll kind of summarize all this very briefly for you because I think you're familiar with the background. The city staff took a look at doing that. And I believe back in September came with a proposal. Let's look here. It was September to essentially expand the commercial cannabis overlay zones to particular Mission Street and Geneva Avenue properties. And here's a graphic that shows those properties. So this is the Mission Street between, I believe, Crocker and Templeton. Both sides of the street, anything zone C1 would receive the CC overlay. So the initial idea was to allow retail at these locations as well as in the city's Bayshore neighborhood. And this is, I think that's Allen Bayshore Boulevard, and then this other was between Calgary and Castillo, so only the north side of Geneva Avenue. And these two would have been one additional eligibility zone, so Mission Street and then Bayshore would have been two combined additional retail. But I think the September meeting, the city council gave staff a directive to come back with a non-retail aspect to regulating this. I think the city council may have received some public testimony and decided to go that way. And so that's why we're back tonight, bringing this, essentially, it's the commercial cannabis NR, it's the non-retail allowance. So it's essentially the same exact ordinance you saw previously, except now it's just non-retail, which is defined as essentially distribution activities. Light manufacturing could occur. And what we mean by that is that, infused products, probably things of this nature, could occur in our, on the properties that we've put up on the overhead for you. And that's essentially what encompasses this zone change in a nutshell. And again, this was at the city council's direction back in September. So bringing it to you tonight for consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Lunkhausen. Any questions or comments? Wow. All right, then I'll make one. I'd like to thank, I remember this, and I was definitely opposed. And I'd like to thank my colleagues here on council who basically educated me, because I didn't know all the particular aspects, especially Dr. Rod, when, I just thought people just go in and buy cannabis, but we're talking about non-retail. And as you said, Mr. Lunkhausen, it was distribution. So due to my education, I do want to respect what the voters want, and Proposition 64 is what they voted for. So I really don't want to be a cog in the wheel here, but I just wanted to make that comment, that I thank my colleagues for helping me come along on this. So it's very much appreciated. All right, are there any other comments? Councilmember DiGiovanni.
I just have a quick question. What is meant by when you say light manufacturing?
It's essentially infusing products with cannabis.
Oh, and then is the probability of people doing it in their homes, or like with a commercial kitchen? Like at one time we had, people could have, start up businesses inside their homes with a commercial kitchen. I remember that.
Well, this particular ordinance does not address any properties in the R1 zoning district where single-family homes exist. This is only the properties we've shown in the C1 zone and along
Mission Street and along, those particular areas. So that gives them the ability, more or less, right?
That's right.
And then the other things are that they can, probabilities are quite extensive, right?
Right. They just wouldn't be able to sell the infused products there. That would be not allowed, just to be clear.
Oh, I get it. Right out of there, right?
Non-retail.
So when they do the delivery, how does, that's what I've always wondered. Where is it that, are all the ones that we have now, they're able to do the delivery?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they all have that ability, right?
Right.
Okay, and then so this doesn't change that part, right?
This doesn't change anything related to that.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mr. Van Luckenhausen.
Thank you, Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Rod?
I just want to say thank you to everybody that has put this effort in. Thank you, Mayor, for the, I don't want to take the accolades, but I think it was just been an effort that we've been talking about since cannabis tax opportunities have came by, and I think there's a flexibility of how this works in our city, and I'm appreciative that we have a specific approach and methodology of including different forms of cannabis manufacturing and making it being safe for the communities, especially in these communities that are are seen as areas of like we're areas of high liquor stores and different places, and I just hope that when we do the manufacturing, it's on the down low, and where we don't have to put the signs up, and and where the business and manufacturing can be occurring, and it could be in a very inconspicuous way. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rod. Okay, I don't see any other hands up.
Just
Councilmember
one
Di
quick
Giovanni.
question. Vice Mayor, she's got.
No, I don't
No,
have
there's no hand
anything.
up.
I'm listening.
Councilmember Di Giovanni, do you
I
have
just had a
another
quick
comment?
question also.
Please.
So in the areas when we were talking about the, again, with the probabilities, so it would include Geneva and the Bay Shore. And then,
It's these
is it
particulars,
still
all the
allowed?
properties in the red hash mark.
Right. So those areas, correct? And then specifically,
Yes.
okay.
It's basically anything zone C1 in these areas. See the green, those are prohibitive areas. Those are too close to either a school or a park or something, so.
So under that, where they were doing the 600, I think it was 600 feet, correct? Then does that include things like that jumpy, the hillside apartments or whatever they're called, the hillside apartments, where Via Mare is, that restaurant? They have a jumpy house where children go. Is that considered a part of it? Like it's not a childcare, but it's a place where the children go. Does that included in that?
That would not have been included in
not
this, but
be
that
included,
doesn't
correct.
affect the properties we're talking about
Okay,
tonight.
okay.
That's too far away. That's down,
Because the 600 feet is like going across the street.
yeah, that's down by War Memorial.
Because there's several different things like that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, then, Councilmember Manalo.
Thank you. Thank you for the map. I think it's very helpful for you to highlight exactly. I remember and recall when we had a discussion on this, and that it was important for us to be more expansive than in the realm of opportunities for business owners, and that we were looking at the production of cannabis infused, whether it was candles, soaps, or whatnot. And I think now that it is in front of us, I think it's important that we move forward with this. There was a lot of work that has been done. I know it's called Peekaboo Factory. That I think what you're mentioning, Councilmember Di Giovanni, and that I believe is all the way on the other side, is the neighborhood I live in, and so it's pretty far away.
It's far away.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Manalo. With that being said, I'd like to open this matter to the public and ask if we have any public or cards. Seeing none, obtain a motion to close the public hearing on this matter.
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Roz, your second. Second by Councilmember Manalo. Okay, it's now, I'll entertain a motion to accept the zone change, ZC 04-24-16507.
I'd like to make the motion for city attorney to read by
Very-
title only.
Very appropriate. Dr. Razia, second.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Manalo. All those in favor say aye.
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 Oh,
Any opposed?
opposed, one over here.
No, I'm saying aye too.
Aye, so, okay, and so we have, and you have one opposed. All right, so it's 4-1. Any abstentions? Motion passes.
I'll read by title only.
Thank you very much.
Sure. This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Daly City regarding zone change ZC 4-24-16507, the adoption of the current commercial cannabis non-retail district. And council may introduce the ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to have the honor to introduce the ordinance.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Longhausen.
Thank you.
All right, moving ahead, appointments for boards, commission, membership committee appointments. Anyone? All right, next item is council committee reports. I have one. Mosquito vector control, pretty much everything is the same. We met on the 11th of March, but one part really was important to me, and that is, since we invested in Cal Class over a 2-year period, the district in interest has made $540,290.
Whoa.
Right now, the current interest rate being paid by Cal Class is 4.86%. And a member of the board of the mosquito vector was traveling, and she observed a pond of water in the city of South San Francisco. She reported it to the Mosquito Vector Control District, and mosquitoes thrive in damp areas. And sure enough, Mosquito Vector went out to a place in South San Francisco. It was a development that was going on. The Safeway that they're building down there? So they found a pond, and yes, it had mosquitoes.
Wow.
So please be very aware of mosquitoes. That's all I have. Anyone else? Councilmember Manalo.
I'd like to make a comment on that. I want to say thank you so much for your service on there. And I think I just want to give you a little note. I know that the mosquito board provides those magnets, right? There's magnets that say if there are mosquitoes or, like to contact, who to contact. So I'll tell you that my son Ethan, he sees mosquitoes and he literally grabbed the magnet and said, "Mommy, you gotta call." And so you have someone that
Wow.
is.
Thank you.
I just had to share that with you
Thank
because
you.
I know you sit on there, and I'm like, there is a resident that definitely knows that the mosquito board is around.
Thank you so
So,
much.
yeah.
Thank you. Okay, any other committee reports?
I do for Bosca.
Oh, yeah, yes.
And so on March 19th, the Bosca Board held its regular scheduled meeting in the Burlingame Community Center. There was a report on the Board Policy Committee, which talked about the SFPUC's 10-year capital improvement program for the water enterprise and Hetch Hetchy system, as well as accomplishments achieved in the development of the strategy 2050 and 2025, and some preliminary work plan for fiscal year 2026 and 2027. Also, the SFPUC's report happened. Allison Costama provided a water supply conditions report. Based on the March 16 data, total system storage is above historical average at 89.6% due to some carryover storage as well as rain and snow in the early year and part of the water year. Our state reservoirs are currently above historical averages for this time of year, and as of March 12, the state drought monitor is showing some dry conditions in the northern part of the state. Hetch Hetchy precipitation is slightly under historical median, but the current year total precipitation for upcountry and the Bay Area are above the 12-month median despite the dry conditions in March. The upcountry snowpack is under the median, which is consistent with the trend seen in 2025. And yes, we also received the budget status report, also received the file investment report, and we also received the file bond surcharge collection account balance and payment report as of December 31st, 2025. We also had a roll call vote on the board adoption with a concurring nomination of John H. W. Weed, Alameda County Water District of the California Water Insurance Fund, SAWIF, Board of the Association Water Agencies, Joint Powers Insurance Authority. We had a discussion on work plan as well as the operating budget. And there was also a discussion on Strategy 2050, and there are first-year accomplishments for the affordability program update, and also an update on the Bay Delta Plan and FERC process. Our next board meeting is May 21, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Manalo. Anyone else? Okay, moving ahead to city council reports. Anyone? Who's going to go first? Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I attended the Daly City Coma Chamber of Commerce scholarship meeting at Renee's Fine Dining. It was a good meeting, and we talked about scholarships for the students, so we're excited about that. We raised our hand. We attended the St. Patrick's Day Daly City Public Library Associates luncheon, which was highly successful. It was lovely, and the food was delicious, and everybody, I think, had a good time. I was there with, let's see here, the mayor attended with his lovely wife. Pam, Councilmember Pam DiGiovanni was there, and Councilmember Justin Manalo, as well as Tom Piccolotti and Tim Nevin. And I know we have a few other people there, Leilani. But if I missed anybody, I apologize. And that was a lovely event. We had an ad hoc finance committee meeting with the mayor and staff. A beautiful swearing in. The mayor was there, Councilmember Jessalyn Manalo, for Christina Luna, who was sworn in as a library trustee, and Jessalyn, the young lady who was re-sworn in, her name, I'm sorry?
Angela Powell.
Angela. She was there as well, and it was really nice to see a full board. We had a wonderful History Guild celebration. I know others will want to talk about it, but it was quite lovely, and the posters and the photos and the art were up. One in particular was the Callan, Brian with the Callan Realty, who did the painting. I thought that was quite lovely. Skyline College had a breakfast, early breakfast. Councilmember Rod was there, as well as Councilmember Jessalyn Manalo, myself, many not board of directors, but directors from the city, including Tom Piccolotti and Josh. And I'm sorry, I don't have the list of people. I'm going to start taking down names. But anyway, that was wonderful, and we were all proud to be at the women's event at City Hall. And I'm sure others would like to talk about that, but seeing who was honored, it was a beautiful event. I'd like to send off kudos to Natalie and her team, who put together a beautiful celebration, from the little gifts to the food to the decorations. And most importantly, congratulations to all the women, young and older, who were honored that evening. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other ones?
Okay.
You want to go?
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just make it short because
Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Thank you, Mayor. And the Vice Mayor covered a lot of it already. And just want to say that the anniversary, and when they showed the 6-minute film, it was 1961. And it was only 9 minutes, but hopefully we can do more of that, because it would be nice to see the 100-year film again, the one that was done prior. Maybe when we get to the 120, maybe that'll be good. And then the Women's Commission, kudos to Councilmember Manalo and the mayor and and Dr. Rod and Vice Mayor. I think we were all there because we were all supporting, and the awardees, well-deserved and stellar. And it was very meaningful, I thought. And Congresswoman, who's supervisor now, Jackie Spears spoke, Adrian Tessier, and well-deserved. And the commissioners did an excellent job, other picks. So kudos to the commissioners as well. So, and I'll save the rest for next time due to the late hour, because I believe we have a closed session after. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember DiGiovanni. Councilmember Manalo, please.
Thank you so much. I wanted to add an addition to our city council reports. I did attend the CCAG meeting on March 12th, and on that agenda, we did talk about several items. It was also the review and approval of Resolution 2612, authorizing the CCAG Executive Director for an agreement with Caltrans for Clean California, Community Cleanup, and Appointment Pathway Grant Program. Also, we had an election of a CCAG chairperson and CCAG vice person. And with that, we also reviewed the legislative update, which we recommended approval of the CCAG legislative policies and positions. There were some policies that they wanted more information on. And so with that, I think the staff is going to come back with some research before bringing that legislation to the state. Also, our next meeting will be next April the 3rd, Thursday. Yeah. So that was for that was for the city council reports. But I also wanted to say that's the council committee reports. I just wanted to say thank you to the workers that came out today.
Yes.
From AFSCME. I think it's important when we see our workers speaking their experiences and their voices. I also wanted to acknowledge the residents in the audience, that housing is a human right. Safe and decent housing is something that everyone deserves, and that our children, families, and seniors should not live in places with mice, bugs, or a threat to their health. I also wanted to say that it's been a very busy 2 weeks. As Vice Mayor noted, I want to acknowledge her. I know she was on the committee for the 115th birthday. So I want to say thank you for your work on that. It was such a lovely event here in celebration, and to see, as someone who grew up in Daly City, it was really wonderful to see also the parades in the past, but also seeing all of the community members celebrating here at City Hall. DCPLA's St. Patrick's Day is always so wonderful, and to raise funds for our libraries with community is always great. Also, want to say thank you to our city manager for ushering in the Irish flag raising.
That was
And during that week, we did learn some things about the assistant city manager, that his birthday is on St. Patrick's Day. And so also I had the opportunity to tour the Chinese hospital on Gellert Boulevard and meet with some of the women doctors there. It's actually majority women physicians, which was really wonderful to see. And also the Claw and Order. I did say Claw and Order, and what that is was the crab feed with the Chamber of Commerce. Also attended the SMC AAPI Alliance, which honored the San Mateo Labor Council with Julie Lind, and also attended BUGS. Like, what is BUGS? BUGS is Build Up Green Spaces. It was the San Mateo Childhood Climate Summit, and really focusing on the importance of building healthy playgrounds and play areas for our children in the county. Ensuring that when we do build these playgrounds, we're making sure that it also is climate resilient. For example, if it's made with plastic, but it's very hot day, then it can burn children, or making sure we're using recycled materials, just infusing that within our spaces that we're building. I did mention we're doing Magical Bridge, and also mentioned at this summit that we are pushing for childcare for 42 infant and toddlers, and that we need the support to push this through. Also, thank you, Vice Mayor, for mentioning the library, the Library Board of Trustees and the oath taking of Christina Luna and Angela Lagarta. Also, attended Youth Point's celebration. And you may ask, well, what is Youth Point? Well, actually, the Daly City Youth Health Center rebranded, and is now called Youth Point. And then also the President's Skyline Breakfast. It was such a gorgeous day, really gorgeous day. And I'm really grateful to have the honor to sit on the President's Council with Vice Mayor Proaño and Council Member Rod Dasmagbawal. I want to say thank you to both the city manager for sponsoring a table, and also to Director Cosgrove from the water in supporting these youth at Skyline, who is really our future. I already talked about Bosca, and so thank you so much, Mayor. And last but not least, I wanted to say thank you, Mayor, for supporting our women's event that happened. I want to acknowledge Natalie for the wonderful work well done. Also, thank you to the wife of Supervisor David Canepa, who provided commendations for the awardees as well, and a proclamation for the Women's Commission. It just gives me really great joy to see the commission in action, and to center all the amazing women in our community that was highlighted, who give so much of their time and energy to make our community what it is today. And so seeing the youth all the way to those that we know who contribute greatly to Daly City was so special, to highlight them and literally to give them their flowers. So thank you.
Hey, thank you, Councilmember Manalo. Anyone else?
Mine just really quick. I just also want to thank the folks that brought many of the residents here today, Faith in Action and their whole coalition. I know it's a late night for them to come out with all their families, but I'm looking forward to working with our staff, and I just want to thank our city manager and city attorney for making helping these next steps, and hopefully we can manifest this into something substantial. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rod. Anyone else?
Just in unison, I think we all appreciate our workers. as well, because they worked all day and they came out, and they came out as well in a group with a group of ASME. And of course, Faith in Action represents many, many people in our community. And it was nice to see the coalitions supporting one another, because I think that's what it takes. It takes building community, and they certainly are community. Thank you, Dr. Rodden.
Mayor, I have one last
Okay,
comment.
yeah.
Thank
Councilmember
you.
Manalo.
I think on the cusp of many organizations, Faith in Action, and you know, the working families, and as well as the organizations such as Gabriela, in unison around really fighting for making sure that, you know, there is less harassment to them as living in their homes. What brought to my attention was when we brought the pavers in again, and Mayor, we were here when they did that. And so I'm thinking maybe we create a task force to address some of, you know, the concerns. And I know that there's an ad hoc committee, but maybe what can be done is, you know, creating a task force, because I know many times we have done that with a short-term rental ordinance. We've done it through the pavers, and really to engage our community to be able to work through and do this potentially an ordinance for the community. So that is just a suggestion that I'd like to bring forth. Thank you.
You said an ordinance for the community pertaining to what? I'm sorry, I heard pavers and et cetera.
I said that in the same way that there was a ordinance for pavers. In the same way there was an ordinance for also short-term rentals. What I'm saying is maybe the next step is to create a task force so that there's, you know, community input on, I think, all stakeholders.
Okay, I'm a little lost here, to be honest. For community input, in what particular area?
Oh, I'm talking about the ordinance that the residents have brought forth.
I think that that's inappropriate at this time because the residents, while I do appreciate them being here, if further information was needed, we would ask that this matter be agendized, but tonight that matter was not agendized, so we basically cannot take any action.
I'm not saying yes or no. I'm saying I'm proposing it, and it's just in the, is, you know, yeah.
Well, I have to defer to the city attorney if that's within council
Okay.
members' purview to propose the creation of a task force to create an ordinance to which I believe was already in the works and being worked on.
So I mean, if we know, if there's the next steps, then it'll be helpful. I was just trying to see how things could move through with working with community and all stakeholders that care about this.
Thank you. Mr. Piccolotti, would you kindly read the paragraph on the statement that you provided earlier regarding what the next steps were? For the record.
That'll be helpful, Mayor. I probably missed that because I came
Right.
in later.
Through the
So
chair.
That'd be helpful.
Please, Mr. Piccolotti.
The
Matter of
paragraph-
fact, for a matter of record, since Councilmember Manalo
Yeah.
wasn't here, would you
Yeah, no
kindly
problem.
read the report that you provided?
Reread the report?
Yes,
The entire report?
yes.
Okay. Let me start over. Good evening, Mayor and council members.
Was Vice Mayor also there?
Yes, the
Yeah, I
vice mayor
believe-
was online.
I believe she was on. Okay, so I'll review this again. I'll provide a brief update on the proposed tenant anti-harassment ordinance and the work currently underway. There continues to be community interest in advancing tenant protections in Daly City, and the concerns being raised are important and recognized by the city. As reflected in the council's adopted resolution, staff is proceeding with the review and evaluation process to better understand the proposed ordinance and its potential implementation in Daly City. This includes reviewing the legal framework, assessing administrative and fiscal considerations, and evaluating how the ordinance would function within the city's existing structure. Staff is also continuing stakeholder outreach and engagement, including discussions with tenant advocates, landlords, and representatives from the real estate community, including SAMCAR, to gather input on the ordinance and its potential impacts. Currently, tenants are protected under the California law, including the Tenant Protection Act of 2019, and the proposed ordinance would expand into the area of landlord conduct and harassment, which staff is continuing to evaluate. Consistent with council direction, staff will return with a progress update as part of the mid-cycle budget review in the May-June timeframe. This will include findings and options for council to consider. This remains an ongoing review process, and staff will continue to keep the council and the public informed as this work progresses. Was I any better the second time around?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to listen to both sides. Councilmember Manalo.
Yeah, it seems like that's already happening. I'm saying, when I say a task force with all stakeholders, that's what I mean, what he repeated, right? With all stakeholders. So I think we're on the same page.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll be the last one to make a comment. As Councilmember Manalo alluded, it's been a very busy 2 weeks, but I'm going to talk only about 3 items. First 2 I will combine regarding the Daly City's 115th birthday celebration, and concurrently after that, the state of the cities. As I made mention during my state of the cities, I want to reiterate that over 115 years, it's the folks and the council and the people of Daly City who's come before me, along with the collaboration that had made this city what it is today. In regards to state of the cities, I'd like to thank the entire staff of Daly City. I'd like to thank Mr. Piccolotti and his staff and Leilani for the tremendous work that you did to make it a success. I'm very proud of you all. I'm very proud to be a part of this city. And it is you folks, the staff, the entire staff of Daly City, that makes us look good. And lastly and foremost, to thank my council colleagues for your ideas and wisdom. I only had the honor of delivering State of the Cities, but as you know, State of the Cities contains information that transpired in the year before me. So under Dr. Rod's leadership, the former mayor, and to have that opportunity and with the vision of what's to come in 2026, I'm very indebted and appreciative. The next thing is the Women's History Month. It was our first, as Councilmember Manalo was the impetus to getting the Women's Commission started, and with the constant support of staff, especially Natalie, it was a great celebration. And I'm trying to sound very somber and whatnot, but then I always try to add a little humor. But I was given a strict script to follow regarding women's history. And I followed that script, but I wanted to interject something. I guess I'll do it now. When I was thinking about women's history, I was thinking about the song from James Brown. Tom Piccolotti, do you know what that song is? Tom, you are very good. No, actually, it's a man's world. Okay? But if you listen to the lyrics, what it says is, man created the train to carry a heavy load. Man created that light bulb to take us out of the dark. But everything that man has done, it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. So that's my tribute to Women's History Month. It's very much appreciated. And that's my comment. All right, we'll move on.
Mayor, before you move on, I just want to say you did a wonderful job with the state of the city address. And I know you're trying to keep it at a certain amount of time, but you definitely, for not practicing, like you said, you've seen it for the first time.
Thank you.
It was well done, and you put a lot of jokes in there, and it made it go by really fast. And I know that the audience really appreciated it, and those watching.
Thank you.
As well as we did. So congratulations on a wonderful state of the city.
Thank you so much. Here we are. All right. Next to the last item, that would be staff reports.
I think I gave it twice.
Thank you, Mr. Picolotti. All right, adjournments, and apparently, due to the dynamic and fluid changes, we do have two adjournments. So I'd like to first start off with Dr. Rod for his adjournment, please.
Yes, I would like to do this obituary in honor of one of my good friends. Her grandma, or Lola, passed away. Her name is Lucia Kunoy Kakal, whose beloved aunt, mother, and grandmother. Passed away on February 24th, 2026, at the age of 99 in Bacoor, Cavite, Philippines, due to complications with pneumonia. Born on August 19, 1926, in Ormoc City, Leyte, Philippines, she lived a life filled with joy, laughter, and love. Affectionately called Mamang or Anting Lusing, Lucia was known for her elegant style, love of ballroom dancing, obsession with Doritos, impeccably wrapped veggie lumpias, and formidable skills in mahjong. Lucia immigrated to Daly City, California in the 1970s, taking Sam's Trans, BART, and Muni everywhere. Her most frequent route was along Mission Street on the 14 to run errands in Excelsior, attend Mass at St. Patrick's Church, then board the Lucky Board tour bus in the Soma, and work in downtown San Francisco's garment factories. Lucia eventually retired at 58 to become a full-time Lola, raising many of her grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and almost centenarian, Mamang Luisa is defined by her stubborn independence, sense of humor, resilient nature, and love unlike any other, leaving a lasting impact on those who knew her. Mamang Luisa is deeply missed by Elizabeth, Rebecca, Merlin, Robert, Darlene, Malu, Teresa, Verma, Nikki, Maya, and many more grandchildren and great-grandchildren throughout the United States and the Philippines. She is preceded in death by the love of her life, Celso Soria, her parents Isaac Cunoy and Figuracion Sixta Enriquez, her siblings Julio, Ricardo, and Luz, and her children Eduardo, Lauren, and Mirna. So this goes out to Verma Zapanta and Harvey and the rest of the family. May her life rest in peace.
Thank you, Dr. Rod. Councilmember Manalo?
Thank you, Mayor. About a month ago, there was really a great tragedy with a fatal avalanche near Lake Tahoe. And as we talk about Women's History Month, there were 6 friends. All were described as super moms who went on a trip there and unfortunately passed away because of avalanche. And one of them was named Carolyn Sikar, 45 of San Francisco. She was the heartbeat of our community, making it brighter and more joyful, and always taking care of the little things to make it better. She was authentic and unabashedly unfiltered. Everyone who knew her felt the genuine joy and enthusiasm she carried. She was always the first to help, whether it was picking up a neighbor's package or dropping everything the moment someone needed her. She had such tremendous energy, and she was the happiest channeling it into the adventures, into the mountains, on foot, on skis, or on a bike by her side. Carolyn spent her final days doing what she loved best, with the people who love her the most, in her favorite place. Her best qualities are now part of her children, who they are, and they'll carry her spirit with them for the rest of their lives. She was with her partner, her children, and her puppy, and then on one last adventure with her sister and close friends who she now rests with.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Manalo, do we have any others? Seeing none, if we can kindly please pause for a brief moment of silence, please. Thank you. Stay healthy, stay safe. This meeting is now adjourned. A reminder to our